This episode of An Unexpected Podcast is brought to you by Brandon Sheline. Thank you.
Took her bow, and then she turned to go. The Prince of Peace embraced the gloom and walked the night alone. Dancing in the dark night, sing to the moon. The Dark Lord rides in force tonight, and time will tell us all. I hear Horace's thunder down in the valley below. I'm waiting for the angels of Avalon, waiting for the eastern glow. The apples of the valley, oh, the seas of happiness. Ground is rich from tender care, repay, do not forget. No, no, dance in the dark night, sing to the moonlight. Apples turn to brown and black, the tyrant's face is red. War is the cry, pick up your swords and the sky is filled with good and bad, mortals never know. Oh well, the night is long, the beats of time pass slow. Tired eyes on the sunrise, waiting for the eastern glow. The pain of war cannot exceed the woe without the man. The drums will shake, the castle warm, the ring razor out in black. Ride on, raise your right on, shoot straight to Dundee. No comfort here, the fire at night, the lights the face so cold. Dance in the dark night, sing to the morning and light. Red and gold to bring the balance back, bring it back. At last the sun is shining, the clouds are blue or white. With flames from the dragon of darkness, the sunlight blinds his eyes.
Hello, friends, and welcome to an unexpected podcast. I'm Ez,
And I'm Lane.
and we're talking Tolkien.
We're coming to you from the Shire of America, the beautiful state of Ohio, in a little village called Amamda.
Wow.
I'll tell you more about that in a second.
Please do. Oh my gosh. This week we're reading to the death
Little play on words there.
as we take heart and do battle on the fields of Pelennor.
We were going to have a very special guest with us, but she's asleep.
She's Sleeping Beauty.
So Goldberry was going to be with us this week and talk about this. We really wanted her reaction to Eowyn.
Yeah, we did.
Originally, we were going to have the Shire Rats on, and we weren't able to make it work with the schedule. Yeah. And then we thought, what if Goldberry came on?
Right.
Came on and just like a heroine in our lives, you know, to get her perspective on. She's never read this chapter.
Yeah.
And she's only ever seen the movie interpretation of what happened.
Right.
But we were both like, man, it would be really cool just to, and I really wanted to see what she would think. So maybe we'll do a revisit at some point. But, yeah.
Well, you guys just keep clamoring for it, and we'll get old Goldberry.
What did you think of that song, that intro
I'm
song?
telling you right now, I'm fired up.
So the backstory behind that, my cousin Luke, who is going to be coming on, oh my gosh, some episode with Frodo and Sam. He's going to come on and do a reread with us.
Yeah.
We were best buds, call each other secret brothers. I think I've talked about Luke on the podcast before.
Yeah.
But Lord of the Rings, like obsessed. We were obsessed. We'd play the video games. We'd watch the movies. It's all we'd ever talk about. He pretended to be Frodo. I pretended to be Aragorn. And he loved music and loved this old classic rock and roll stuff. And he introduced me to Led Zeppelin. And he was like, dude, some of their music is actually about Lord of the Rings. I was like, stop. I was like, stop, dude. There's no way. Mm-hmm. There's no way. Rock stars were singing about Tolkien. And he was like, yeah. He said, the Battle of Evermore is this song. And it's about the Battle of Pelennor Fields. And at first I didn't believe him. And then you start listening to it and you're like, holy cow.
Yep.
So because we kind of have a little bit of music here in this chapter. And I thought this would be kind of a cool, I don't know how we would sing that part. So this was kind of a cool little way to pay homage to the fight and the battle.
Right. Yeah.
Doesn't it get you fired up,
it
though, man?
Really does,
that mandolin going and thinking about throwing down your plow and your hoe.
Yeah.
Picking up your sword.
The drums will shake the castle wall.
The ring wraiths riding black.
I was shocked. I actually was thinking, okay, it's really subtle, and then they come right out with that line, and I'm like, well, dang.
How does crow taste? Do you like the taste of crow? Because I think one time I brought up Led Zeppelin.
It's tasty.
And I showed you some Led Zeppelin music. You were like, I don't know about this, bro. I don't know, bro.
I think I did say that exactly.
And you're like, this isn't even about Lord of the Rings. And now I saw you. I know when you dig music.
Yeah, dude. And
I was playing that.
That was sick.
And you were doing one of these.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
People who can't see watching at home. Well, I just imitated Ez.
And yeah, you're right. Exactly. At the end too, typically I'm like, all right, let's fade this out. No, I want to hear the whole daggone thing because that was just the jam. Just,
you feel it feels like a battle song, doesn't it? Like something you would.
Yes.
Like those guys on, whether you're Rohirrim or you're coming in from the farms within the Ramasakor and you're coming to fight, it just felt like something you could sing and do battle to.
Man,
good, huh? Real good. They are notorious. I mean, I think after we talked about that, Jesus, probably like 20 episodes ago now, about Led Zeppelin and their love of Lord of the Rings and Tolkien and Middle Earth, we had some people post. It was, I think it was a picture that has all of the most notable references that they make in songs. There are several songs where they reference Lord of the Rings and the events and even other things that happen in Middle Earth. So
I hear the horses thunder.
Yep, down in the valley below.
Unbelievable. Remember the guy? We met the bard after we watched Tolkien.
Real life Tom.
He brought this up.
Yes, he did.
I forgot about it.
He did.
And he was.
This is his favorite part too, isn't it?
Yes, I forgot about that. Because you knew what he was talking about. I had no idea.
Michael Jackson kind of a thing.
The Battle of Evermore, guys. You should know about it. It's a thing. It's absolutely epic. I will listen to that later tonight. So,
we played Misty Mountain Hop, which is another one. I'm packing my bags for the Misty Mountains,
right,
where the spirits go. Yeah, Yeah, good stuff. Really good stuff. This is an awesome chapter. We're very excited. We've been discording for like literally 2 hours. We've been having so much fun that we just, I don't know. We almost didn't want to start this chapter because we didn't want it to be over.
Oh, I know. Yeah, really.
Beautiful chapter. Really good show news. I don't know, dude. Lots of fun stuff. Lots of good stuff going on. Good vibes. Good vibes is what we're saying.
Yep.
I want to do a quick shout out. Since we're in quick counsel, we quit counseling.
We're quicking it.
I got to meet my school is starting this week, and been in the classroom last like week and a half trying to get my room ready. Brand new room, brand new position. A lot of prep goes into that.
Yeah.
So one of my secretaries, Sam, her grandsons, or the one grandson I had heard of, Jack, is like this 35-year-old in a 12-year-old's body. Okay. Yeah. And I had heard all these stories about him. And when she found out we did this book club, this podcast, she was like, what's it called? He might be interested in that. He loves reading and big, long books and, and fantasy and stuff. And so he kind of started to listen. And so I got to meet him this week and his brother, William.
Wow.
And, dude, it was crazy talking to that. I wish I would have had that mentality like 5 years ago, let alone when I was 12 and 10. They're sitting there talking about next summer they want to start a grass mowing business, and their neighborhood's prime for it because it's all retired individuals and it's in kind of an older community, and they need someone to mow the grass, but they're also, they'll be really easy to work for and kind and generous and stuff. And they're like, they also have a lot of money, so we can hit a good price point. And they're just like talking about, and they have YouTube channels. Because I was asking them, I said, do you guys have a podcast? Would you ever want a podcast? And because we're just throwing out these great ideas. And they were like, no, they're like, YouTube, we have YouTube channels. I said, that's this generation, isn't it? I said, you guys are all YouTube. And he was like, yeah. He's like, everyone wants to be famous. I was like, yeah, you know who doesn't want to be famous? Yeah. Famous people. And he goes, you're right. You're right about that. I was like, man, these kids, I felt like I was talking to other, peers almost. So,
well, I mean, you threw me because I actually legitimately thought you were talking about like a Benjamin Button case. I did not. I was like, wait, they're actually, okay, I'm sorry.
So shout out to Jack and William. They're amazing. Shout out to Sam too. Love Sam. She's amazing. And then I had a quick text from our buddy Jim Nichols. Guys, if you remember Love of Language episode, the special episode with Jim, our buddy, he went on many asides about his love. Yeah, speaking in tongues.
It was.
His love of language, his expertise in Spanish, and then talking about how amazing it is that what Tolkien built through language.
Right.
He has actually been in Ireland with Claire, his wife.
Recently?
With their family. Yep.
Wow.
Her mom is Irish, like Irish.
Yep.
And so I got all these beautiful pictures of them and these otherworldly scenes and locations they were visiting and stuff. Anyway, he was on his way back and he was like, dude, I could read the text.
Come on.
I could read the text. Should I just do it?
Yeah, read the text, man. I mean, take your time getting it out of your pocket while you're at it there.
We need some
on the fly.
We need some elevator music because I just got to read the whole thing here.
Yeah. Do it justice, my friend.
Okay, here it is. So he said, LOTR Prime. Right. We talked about this phenomenon of Kurt Jones being able to Kurt. You know what you do.
You know what
all
you
right?
do. Yep.
And when you guys meet Kurt, he'll be sucked in just like us. We were at the Long Expected Party last year. Well, no, that's where he met Erica Barnes. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
One of the Shire rats.
Yeah.
In conversation, we were talking about Erica, and he goes, "Oh yeah, EB is going to be there. Cool. All right." And I was like, "Yeah, EB, right? That's what we call her."
Right. Yep.
I was like, he just created a nickname, and I'm accepting it.
And
then he's talking about LOTR on Prime.
Yeah.
I've always called Lord of the Rings when it's the letters. I've always said LOTR.
Yeah.
And he goes, LOTR on Prime.
LOTR on Prime.
LOTR on up.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, okay, yeah, that's exactly how we should be saying that. So he creates these nicknames, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So anyway, this caused some confusion for Jimmy.
Okay. All right.
You see how it's spelled there?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
LOTR on Prime, as in LODERON. Prime.
Okay. Yep.
That's what I've been searching for months. LOL. Kept giving up and trying again. Just realized after the latest podcast what you're talking about.
Oh my!
Wow, classic Nichols, and that is classic Nichols.
Wow,
very classic Nichols.
So, yeah, it's still LOTR
on Prime.
Just so you guys know.
So now Jimmy knows too. It's a good feeling.
Hey, how great would you feel if like tomorrow
they changed it?
Their Twitter account changed. It's like I'm gonna throw these guys for a loop.
I kind of think
they listen.
I kind of think they are, man.
God
After we'll talk about some Amazon show news, and it leads me to believe that someone is at least going, okay, this is the pulse or part of the pulse.
Yeah.
Here's what we should talk about.
Right.
How you doing, man? You started back to work. You're still in your work clothes.
Yeah, thank you. Got back to work 2 days in the bank, I guess.
Back in the bank.
There it is. And,
like you're a bank teller now, or
I'm working for the bank.
Okay.
I'm actually working for the weekend. So and it's here, and I'm happy that it is here. It's been great. I mean, it's been you guys. I want to say thank you to everyone in our community, in our group, and especially Lane, just for like the shout out, man, the love.
Oh, dude, gotta get you amped up. It's a
I
new
don't know.
year, and
it was something though, like not every year do you need that, but this year I did, and so I really appreciate that because it feels good. I'm gonna put it like this: I got my armor on. All right, I got my armor on. Okay, hey,
dude, no, I thought you said I got my arm on wrong, and I was like, are you like a Barbie doll or something?
Called isn't armor on a thing? Like, isn't it like an
armor all?
Armor all. Okay, I was like, what? Yeah. Okay. Wow.
You got your armor on.
Got the armor on. Yeah.
Fitting
ready
for
to go.
today.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yep.
With the chapter ready to go. So it's been great. I mean, I don't know. I feel I said this, I think, going in at the end of last school year, if you will, back in the spring, that I felt like a change was coming. Mm-hmm. I felt this wind blowing.
Yeah. Sea-tang.
Yeah.
Some sea-tang.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly. And I still feel it. And actually, it more and more every day is manifesting, and I'm just kind of shocked by it. And I'm just sort of letting myself be taken away by it. And that's where I'm at. So I'm blown in the wind.
That's real good.
What?
You're blown in the wind or blowing? So
wait, the visual on that.
Oh, is that wind? I'm going to blow back here.
I'm going to blow back.
So I can't believe this wasn't the first thing I said, but we had a moment here, and I was banking on Sarah being here. I wanted Goldberry to experience this with us. But anyway, she did in real life. You were talking about just sort of changing the air and embracing whatever. Well, you are kind of doing this like this project thing that I'm not going to talk about because that's your story. Okay, I only tell my story.
Yeah. That's fine.
So every man tells his own story.
I'll tell it.
All right, cool. So here's kind of the crazy thing. Long story short is that turns out Ezra has. You guys just thought podcasting was something he picked up, right? You're wrong.
That's right.
It's in his blood. It's in his DNA.
That's
right.
And
we actually came to that realization in the kitchen today, and I had to leave. I said, all right, guys, have a good life. See you later. I left. I went out into the yard, and I thought, no, come on back.
No, truly, though.
But it freaked me the crap out because Ezra's mom was doing podcasting in the 80s.
Yep.
In the 80s. It's not a time travel story.
No, we're being serious.
And it was Sarah, it was Goldberry, who came to that realization, of course.
You made me cry, man.
she laid it out there, and she was like, wait, because you explained what your mom did, and she said she was podcasting. And I was like,
well before it was ever possible. I mean, I never thought about it like that, and she is absolutely right.
Yeah,
100%.
Crazy.
So
crazy.
There it is.
Yeah.
Woo.
Okay. So anyway, with that realization, yeah.
Oh, by the way, if you want more on the secret project, you just have to stay tuned.
I was gonna say I don't want to. You do it whenever. So
stay tuned on that. We'll get something on. Yep.
But life's good. Everything else?
Yeah, everything's solid. Dude, we are literally swamped for the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
So I want everyone just to bear with us, right? I mean, we're starting the school year. You're starting a new position.
Yeah. It's a glaring situation.
Oh my gosh, we got big news. We got a lot going on. I got you. I got it. It won't be glaring for much longer, though. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Guys, secrets. We're speaking in code here a lot. No, I appreciate it. Yeah.
It's your story. You tell your story.
You making fun of me?
Not at all.
No, but hey, how are you? First of all,
good, man.
Jump there.
I'm doing good. I'm ready for the school year. I don't know what I'm gonna, I don't know what I'm gonna teach very well, but it'll be fine. I'm prepared to create an environment for kids to feel safe and to feel like they're part of a team and a family, and that's the most important thing. Beginning of the year, that's all you have to worry about anyway. Yeah.
Something you're saying real quick. I'm sorry, I'm getting a vibe here. Something you just said.
Yeah.
Are we going to talk about the long expected party later? Is that in your notes?
Yes, it's in the notes. Yes,
remind me to come back to this moment in what you're talking about here with teaching. Just remind me.
Yeah, okay.
You guys that are listening,
You're doing
remind
your
me.
weird wizard thing, man.
Say, Ez, don't forget to come back to this moment.
Yeah, because
making it memorable. Yeah. Let's go.
Wow, I hear them actually. Whoa. Okay, so yeah, no, life's good. The girls, holy cow, man, it's crazy when you spend all summer with them, and then you go back to work and you're away from them for a day, and all you think about is them, and everything else just feels meaningless. It stinks. It really stinks. And then you see them, and you're like, dude, they grew during that 6 hours.
Yeah.
They got older. They're saying more words. They're the change is magnified. So that part's been both incredibly exciting and heartbreaking, because it's just like the realization that we have mornings to get ready, we have nighttime to eat dinner and go to bed, and then we have weekends, and it's just not enough. So I don't know, but lucky to have the summers. A lot of people don't have that. Most people don't have that. So, but anyway, I'm gonna miss my girls at going back to school. But the one thing that does help too is I think we have, like, Sarah and I and you have classrooms full of somebody's Winnies.
That's true.
Somebody's Charlottes. You
That's
know what
true.
I mean? So that helps when you think of it in that context. And I even told them on the way home, driving home, I said, girls, when I was thinking about what I'm going to say to the kids or whatever, I think about what I would want you to hear.
Come on now.
And so it really just helps. It's like, I'm not going to, there's things that I don't need to sweat. There's things that I need to make sure I communicate to them that a lot of adults won't. Just that they're valued, that they're special people, that they have great ideas. I'm excited for that. It'll be nice to be back in that setting, and just the beginning is kind of nerve wracking, but then you get into it and you're good.
Yeah, you have. So, you got to lock in your no option.
Buckle up. Yeah. Okay, well, we've got we're going to get into dropping eaves here. We got some show news. We've got some updates. You uppers have been, keeping us in tune and in key with what's going on. I don't feel like I even have to search stuff anymore, because as soon as something happens, you guys let us know. Right. So is that better?
It's good. It's great.
Sorry, I just had to touch his leg with my foot. So the main thing, two main things that came out. All right, the first one is that we have this rumored number of episodes for season 1.
Right.
And it's out there that this number of 20 episodes is being thrown around.
Wow.
Yeah, 20 episodes. So I had an initial reaction, and then I had a calm down reaction. That kind of seems to be my form.
Yep.
That's what I've done with all these. So I say 20 episodes. As how does that make you feel?
Well, because we haven't talked about this at all. So you have no idea what I'm going to say here, and I'm just going to tell you. It made me think that's too many. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's
little trepidation.
How far is the money being spread on each of these projects? Like,
how long is each episode?
Yeah, right. So I would guess that the episode's shorter, then maybe not as big of a deal. It still would be like a big 10 episode season, but maybe it's only 30 minutes and it's not like an hour or 50 minutes like we think it should be.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe there's more story to tell. Actually, maybe that's what that's what's going on.
Yeah, I was. So my first reaction was, wow, that's like what you see for a sitcom.
Yep.
Not for or even a drama. It's like a typical half-hour TV. It's 20 half-hour episodes. Mm-hmm. When I see that, that's what I think.
Yep.
But then I'm like, no, that can't be what this is, because half an hour is just not long enough to tell. It's got to be at least an hour episode, I would think.
Yep.
Maybe not, though. Maybe they'll find something a different way to do it.
50 minutes is yeah.
I mean, that's what you want. That's what you want. But like I was thinking, all right, we might have 6, 8, 10 episodes, 10 max in a season, because that's just kind of what these shows do. Any kind of, I think we used to call them mini series, maybe not, but any I mean, you think about Sherlock, right? Think about any quality BBC production, Luther, geez, man, Broadchurch, all these great shows. It's like 6 episodes is a season, 8, 10. That's normal.
Right.
So yeah, the 20 kind of freaked me out. But then I kind of thought what you articulated so well is maybe they're going to tell a bunch of the story, or as we'll get to later, and Seth Gleason's post that he made and a bunch of people commenting on maybe it's like a couple episodes focusing on this character, a couple episodes focusing on this region, a couple episodes. So maybe it will help broaden. Is that a word?
Yeah, broaden.
Okay, broaden the
You're
scope.
stuck on if, aren't you?
If is that a word?
Wow.
It'll like broaden the scope of what we're doing, of what we're able to see within a certain amount of time.
Okay.
So I'm not scared. I trust them again. But yeah, at first I was like 20 episodes. That's way too many. But I want more Lord of the Rings. I want more Middle Earth.
Right.
So that I can't complain. I mean, I guess maybe it's like me looking at the movies and going, "Whoa, they're 4 hours long. They should only be 90 minutes." Maybe that's kind of ridiculous, but it is weird to see that 20 episode. I mean, that's like This Is Us.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
They have like 24 episodes in a season. It's like, wow, okay.
So I think and it's a longer episode, isn't it? This Is Us.
Yeah, they're like hours,
like
hour long,
40,
episode.
45 minutes.
Yeah. Hour block. So,
right.
But here's the other thing too. Maybe with that amount of episodes, it will be over a course of a couple months, or I don't know. Maybe it will be more like a traditional television show schedule. Maybe not. Maybe it'll be a 20 episode dump. But my lord, that's nuts.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I guess what I'm thinking too is like the real question is how long are the episodes? We know how many there are, but like if it's half hour, I'm scared, nervous about that. I don't really like that. But if it's 40, 45, 50-minute episodes, cool.
Yep.
I mean, that sounds epic.
Yeah.
So I guess it's I don't know.
I know it's interesting. I think originally I was like I wanted so I guess because I'm stuck on it right now, but it's the first thing I remember being kind of different that I really got into was the Sherlock BBC episode series, and every episode was 90 minutes. So there's like I don't know 5 or 6 episodes in a season, and it's like each episode was a mini movie. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of what I was like. Oh, that's probably what they'll do. They'll have like 5 episodes, and each one will kind of be like its own standalone movie, or not standalone. It could run into each other, but hour and a half, longer, more time to kind of work with. Sure. So because that was what I was anticipating, it was a little jarring at first, but I'm like, all right. But then I see everyone involved and who's on that team. I think it'll be fun.
It's big, and there's big names, and
it's big.
That's what they're throwing out. I mean, Prime. Basically, I have Prime now. I mean, I was ordering some stuff on Amazon. All right, happens, normal.
It does happen.
And I was like, I want the 2-day shipping, and I want the whatever. Yeah, hook me up.
We even
because
have the music,
I know this is coming.
we have the music
I'm like,
service too,
all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
So,
are we getting paid?
They are not. No.
Come on.
Well, we work for the
upper discount
for the show. I don't know. So my thing is like this has got to be big, right? It has to be. This is their thing.
They're putting $1 billion into it.
Yeah, this is huge. So I mean, why would you like go big or go home?
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah,
and I'm already home.
Yeah.
So
you got to be big.
That's all I can do. There's no other option here. All right, man.
Yeah,
you got me there.
So something that kind of makes me feel better about this number, makes me feel better about the team, and also kind of freaks me out because I think it might not be proof, but it might be evidence, I guess, that they really are listening. Because we just asked last episode or the episode prior, it was within the last 2 about we had seen that article released that the Tolkien estate, just in a side note, kind of mentioned the Tolkien estate's involvement. Yep. And before it would kind of been ambiguous, like, what rights do they have? Are they involved? Are they not involved? Is it really Second Age? Remember, it was all kind of like, well, we haven't heard any release that like the Tolkien estate has sold the rights to the Second Age to, so there's all this stuff we're like, what?
Right.
So, in an article that was shared on the group, I think Christopher Michael posted it first that I saw, that essentially it just says the Tolkien estate is involved. They have veto power. So anything that doesn't line up with Tolkien's work or quote unquote canon or what he has created gets shut down.
Okay. And
that's kind of where Tom Shippey comes into it. So Tom Shippey he's the biographer of Tolkien. He's been an expert his whole life on the mythology and the background and the history and Tolkien himself as a man. And so I was kind of interested. I'm like, why is he like, what is his role? Mm-hmm. And so that's the deal, is that anything that strays far. So like,
he's there to kind of say that's out of the,
you can't do it. You don't have the rights to change that.
So wait, the state's kind of like endorsing him they're also probably going to be.
Yeah, they're involved. I think he's kind of like representing the Tolkien estate within the production company. So he'll be communicating to them.
Like, this is happening. Because that was what I was wondering, is like, okay, if Payne and McKay are getting stuff laid down here and mm-hmm. they're building towards something in episode 15, mm-hmm. but we're going to cut out a key piece of it in episode 8, mm-hmm. well, dang, we need to know that way ahead of time, right? I mean, they basically have to have everything. That I think in and of itself is I'd love to see a documentary on how this is all unfolding behind the scenes, mm-hmm. because think about that. They have to run their vision and know what's okay to do basically before they start anything. Right? I mean, because you wouldn't want to be doing something that even comes close to being vetoed.
Yes.
Because there's sequence of events. There's a reason why you do what you do, and you're setting up some dramatic reveal or something. Yes. You don't want to spoil that because you had to cut something out. I don't know.
So there are more details in this article. I just kind of abbreviated it, but it's on avclub.com. It's in their news section, and so it just says anyone who's hoping for some kind of plot twists, and clever revision in Middle-earth for the show, it's not going to happen because it is. Okay. I didn't
Wait, it is going to happen?
Read that in depth. No, but Tom Shippey is the one. He's the consultant to ensure that the Tolkien estate, that the main shape of the Second Age is not altered.
The main shape. Okay.
So in other words, the established, and I'm quoting now, the established canon that J.R.R. Tolkien established in his books cannot be altered by anything that Amazon does, and the estate maintains power of veto on any content Amazon has in mind.
Well, are they talking about influencing things into the Third Age? Is that what they're saying? Like that being established, or what?
On top of that, the First and Third Ages of Middle-earth history are completely, quote-unquote, off limits for the TV show, meaning you won't see any familiar stuff from, say, a series Peter Jackson movies, because that's all from the Third Age.
Yeah. Okay.
What Amazon can do is fill in the gaps that don't disrupt the main canon. Wow. Sort of like a very extensive TV series that is all solo, a Star Wars story.
Okay.
So Shippey explains the Second Age is all about Sauron trying to reform Middle-earth in a nice way, but then gradually succumbing to the temptations of evil, or in Tolkien terms, Sauron invades Eriador, is forced back to Numenorian expedition, forced back by a Numenorian expedition, returns to Numenor, then corrupts it.
Okay.
So,
So really, the idea is that inside of that age, we can't do anything that would change the overall structure, because there's definitely wiggle. There's definitely room to. And
I think that's kind of what they're saying, is there is wiggle room, but main pillars, you can't touch.
Yeah, major events. We know these characters end up at this city in this battle at this time, and this.
But there's the dance, right? Because if you wiggle a little too much, it's the butterfly effect thing, man. You wiggle a little too much where you can, you might screw up one of those pillars, right? You might loosen the foundation a little bit, or put a crack in it or something, So it would be fascinating to see how this process is going on. Like, is Tom in all these meetings? He'd probably have to be. Is he sitting there and reading all of...
Yeah.
Would you? What?
Well, I can't remember where this was. Or maybe I'm just dreaming it. I thought I read something where he was being real shy about what he was revealed, like whether his involvement.
Well,
maybe it was early on.
We didn't know until now. We didn't know until now.
Real? Okay. Wow.
We knew that until. Well, no, we knew he was involved maybe a couple months ago. I remember reporting, or we were reported to us, and then we talked about Shippey and John Howe being revealed, and it was like, whoa, that's cool. Tom Shippey, the biographer, John Howe, the artist. That's neat. And then didn't really hear anything specifically on, obviously we knew John was doing art, but nothing on Tom. And then the hype up video, the creative team video came out, and we saw him, and then we were talking about it. And then, last week this thing comes out.
Gotcha.
Just kind of detailing it a little bit more. So
I'm
sure
thinking
there were
back.
other people asking that question. What was Tom doing? He's not writing a book on Tolkien.
So last night, because I honestly don't think I'd had a chance to look at this yet. So what I'm remembering was stuff that had happened a couple. Wow, man!
Yeah.
Holy cow!
Yeah, is that crazy?
Was he lying to me a couple weeks ago? Man, I'm kidding. Tom,
So
do whatever you want, man.
Like, it's awesome because
It's cool.
it seems like it could be a little more sticky on the. I don't know. I like this. I can't even specifically say why, but I read this and I was like, okay, cool. There's a guardian there. It's going to make the Tolkien estate happy, because that drama has always frustrated me. That we won't watch the films. We don't like them. We don't like Peter Jackson. We don't like anything that has to do with anything that came from the movies, and even though it sold a lot of books. I just don't like that drama. I want harmony, right? I want harmony in the fandom. That's what I like. So this makes me think they'll be kept happy. It'll be truer to what Tolkien wrote, but they're still going to be enabled and given some creativity. I'm crushed, though, however, because my boldish prediction from last week now can't happen. So thanks a lot. That's great. Everything from the first age is off limits, so we can't have the War of Wrath. So thank you. That was my opening I wanted, remember?
Yeah, but
So no.
But this thing that they
It's off limits, as quote.
Hold on. I mean,
Shippey said it. It's off limits.
But wasn't it the same way for Jackson? I mean, it wasn't like, because he does the whole like a reference back to this time period, right?
I mean, it's because they talk about it within the text of Lord of the Rings.
Gosh dang it!
I think that's a loophole, right?
Man,
isn't it?
Okay, probably that makes sense. Yeah,
and it's pretty much what they did is they just expanded on the Ringverse, right?
Yeah,
kind of. Yeah. So anyway, interesting stuff. That would be a great poll. How do you feel about the Tolkien's estate and involvement in the Amazon show? Love it? Not so much. I like it. I think it'll be good as long as they can work and cooperate, and we get a great show as a result. That's great.
So here we go. I was looking up some of this stuff. This is fascinating. So, Shippey does say, right? I got another article, like the article, if I can speak.
Arker.
The Guardian. Okay, all right. I'm just looking at this.
That's a great source too. Yeah.
As he came out and kind of said that Amazon, quote, has a relatively free hand to add details, since Tolkien did not flesh out every detail of the Second Age in his appendices or in the Unfinished Tales, a collection of stories published afterwards in 1980. So, yeah, he said it's a bit of a minefield, right? So you have to treat it very carefully. Wow. Man, as you said, the Tolkien estate will insist that the main shape of the Second Age is not altered. And that's the part that you went on and read. That's the quote that they're pulling from. But that first bit, so in some respects they have a relatively free hand, but and because things are not fleshed out with those details, we're spanning 3,441 years, right? I mean, it's a long time,
right?
So those anchors and those major battles, major events have to be there. We got to get.
They got to happen the same way.
Yeah.
Right.
We may fall in love with some minor character that was, I don't know, could they create a character that has not actually been, do they have that kind of liberty? That's what I'm wondering.
Glorfindel.
Did Glorfindel, right? I mean, his half-brother, Glorfindel,
yeah, totally.
could they make a character up like that, and he just ends up being like sort of an in between thing?
Good question. That's a great question.
And he really plays no role at all, but we liked him because he was
kind of like Tariel a little bit.
Yeah, something that you can create that doesn't really change anything, but adds a little flair.
I would say that would be the what do you call it, the
relatively free hand.
Yeah, I would call it the free hand. That would be part of it. See, and I guess maybe the reason I like this is because it's kind of checks and balances. Whereas before, with the films and with the Hobbit even trilogy, there wasn't this aspect of it. There wasn't any kind of. They're not really a third party, but they kind of, you know what I mean? It's almost like Shippy's going to come in. He knows the material well. He's going to make sure that certain things aren't compromised, and he's going to allow freedom on the other hand. I don't know. I think it's a good kind of compromise.
Okay, let me tell you what exactly. So, this is exciting. Okay,
Yeah.
This is exciting.
Yeah.
Because I'm reading more about this, and I'm so. This is why Lane does this to me. This is great. But he goes on to say that, quote. Oh, actually, let me back up here. So you had mentioned sort of those major events, the seduction that takes place, all that has to happen. The breaking the ban with the Valar, right? All the main course of history has to remain the same. Quote, but you can add new characters and ask a lot of this is Tom saying this, and ask a lot of questions like, what has Sauron done in the meantime?
Yeah, the in between, right?
Yeah,
where he went out east. What happened to him out east?
Exactly. So explain that.
Yeah.
He's saying they can explain that to us now. Where?
See, I thought that would be a great prologue too, like showing him kind of going out because it was after the War of Wrath, right? He was banished.
Yeah.
And went out and what? Yeah.
Exactly. So where was he after Morgoth was defeated? You're right.
Okay.
So theoretically, Amazon can answer these questions, and you may have to invent new characters.
See, and that's
along
kind
the
of
way.
like what I don't know, not to compare, but it's sort of like what has happened in the Star Wars universe, right? Mm-hmm. You've got all these dead spaces that people
exactly
you can't change what's already happened, and you love what's already happened.
That's right.
But you want to know what happened in
That's
between.
a great comparison. I didn't. Yeah.
And it's great because then you can have something, as long as you come to the same conclusions and same milestones, I guess, within the story. That's what we should call those. They're milestones within history of Middle Earth. As long as you hit those the right way, what happens in between can kind of, because nobody knows. Tolkien probably didn't know. You know, I mean, if he would have lived for 1,000,000 years, he could have finished those, but those different storylines. But I think that's kind of the genius of what he did. I don't know if you ever imagined people wanting to flesh out those gaps, but it's cool that they're there.
Yeah,
because that's what can happen, and that could make for some really good. I don't know. It's going to be really good TV, man.
Yeah. Well, you think
Really
about
good material.
like when we in school we're teaching kids history, and we cover the major stuff.
Right.
It's kind of what Tolkien did for us.
Yeah. Right.
But let's get in a time machine and let's go back and see what were some of the
Those everyday life,
minor
like-
little
Right.
the things that the history books didn't teach us.
See, and here's the other thing. People have been doing this for a long time. Long time. Middle Earth art. People imagining it in their own
Yes.
ways. We just heard a song at the beginning of this episode
Right.
from a perspective that's not in the books, but it's talking about. It's not even called the Battle of Pelennor Fields. It's called the Battle of Evermore.
Yep.
So it's the same kind of creative. You know what I mean? It's the same kind of creative license that really what you're doing is you're paying homage to this original story. We love these stories so much that we want to go back and expand upon them. So
I tell you why. The last point here, and then we'll move on. But like the idea that, as you said, with the Star Wars reference, like I love this event. Okay, I love one of the original events. There's something that takes place. I'm like, that's freaking awesome, right? But if there's a gap, and you can make me like it even more and pull on my heartstrings to say like, oh my gosh, that. So let's look at that real quick. Just a quick one. So in episode 4, right, we have the opening crawl there, and the Rogue One all came from that.
From that.
And you're like, oh my gosh,
One of my favorite Star Wars movies.
Exactly. And why is it so good? Because we already were in love with the original, but now we're like,
It informs it.
sacrifice,
It informs it.
and it doesn't do too much. Like, you don't want everything. You don't want every gap filled in. You love like a little bit of mystery, and we love our Tom Bombadil, and we love situations where we're not quite sure. Let the imagination run wild. So it's a balance, and actually Tom said that in here. I saw the word balance like twice, just in how you gotta. I don't know. Cool, man.
But I also see part of that balance too is his involvement. I think he will help balance that because before that wasn't there. So I like that. I'm very hopeful. Okay. So we also have some of you guys. It's cool. I think I commented at the very end. I just said it's amazing that months ago we were just talking about like very basic things, and now we're able to go. How is this season on the Second Age, or I guess series on the Second Age? How's it going to pan out? Like who are we going to focus on? So it was Seth Gleason who brought up this conversation. He is a conversation starter on Facebook. We still don't know if LOTR Prime is going to have a main character or focus on several main characters, but I've officially decided that I want Isildur to be the main. His story is rich with action, adventure, and tragedy. His story takes place in both Numenor and Middle-earth, and he would be perfect for book readers and everyone who has only seen the movies. Who would you guys want the show to focus on? Emma Rose Kolk said, I'd quite like it to be episodic, maybe following a character per episode or per season.
Right.
Jim said something more like this, maybe 2 to 4 episode arcs per character or storyline. Also a similar storyline seen from different characters' perspectives. We've talked about that before too. That would be really cool. Something from Morgoth or Sauron as the main point of view would be neat.
Yes. Wait. Sauron. Right. Yeah. That'd be so cool.
I kind of hope he is the main character.
That would be.
I kind of hope we follow him.
That'd be nuts.
Like what if we saw? This might not be very popular, but he did have a light form. There may, and I haven't read it, guys, so I'm getting there. I will read it, but was there some good in Sauron? Was there conflict?
Wow.
That eventually led to this dark evil side winning out completely.
Right. Tom Shippey might be stepping in here.
Well,
that's
hold on. That's what I'm saying. Is that some of the wiggle room that Tom's going to say? That's freehand.
Like, wow, that's clever. That would be interesting.
Because here's the other thing too, dude. Just a purely evil villain isn't really very interesting, right?
Yeah,
they're not as interesting as one that either comes from conflict, right? Think about Anakin Skywalker.
Absolutely.
Vader's a great villain.
Yeah,
Anakin was once very good.
That's right.
I guess you could probably argue that.
What's the reason?
Think about Gollum.
Yeah,
think about Gollum. Right? He's a quote unquote villain. Smeagol was very Hobbit-like at one point. I mean, I don't know. It's just I don't know. It'd be interesting. So yeah. From different points of view.
Where do they start? Do they start year one? No, they don't do that.
They start with the War of Wrath. That's what I want.
I know.
But they're not going to.
I know.
Wouldn't that be great though, as a prologue, and then it gets you hooked to what happened in the first stage, and then you're asking those questions.
Yeah.
So Seth came back and said, Emma, I think that would be really cool too. There's so much that goes on and plenty of incredible characters to follow. I won't be disappointed either way. Neither will we. Nicole D said, Jim, I agree. I think an episodic approach would be interesting, but I would want a single storyline to span over a few episodes. So some continuity. We don't want to be jumping all over the place. I got to agree with that too, especially with such an age representing so many years. I think the more linear-ish it can be, the less confused I'm going to be, because I know I'm going to be confused reading it, but so.
Yeah.
Philip Willis, he's coming in, man. He's coming in hot.
What's he got?
He's coming in hot. I'm thinking Isildur may be a main character, but I'd also love to see Gil-galad.
Wow.
Be a main character.
Yep.
As well. Hopefully some diverse cast and some female leads. Maybe Galadriel.
I was going to say Galadriel. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Seth Gleason said, Phil, I totally agree. Gil-galad rules, and I won't ever argue about Galadriel, though I'd have to add Elrond. I would like to see, and I think this is where Adam Driver could be cast, bro.
Yeah.
Elros.
Wow.
Elrond's brother, who chose to embrace the man half of him, right? And become the first king of Numenor.
Yeah.
Adam Driver, right there. He can redeem himself after all. So everyone's all for Galadriel and young Elrond. John Eddowes said, would never happen, but Durin.
Yeah, I was looking at that too. Sort of
so like the dwarven,
the migration. Yeah,
that'd be really cool. Darren Ward, I personally do not want a main character, rather a whole host of characters that cover different people and areas with an intertwined storyline. I like that. That's cool to hear. I haven't heard from Darren before. Isn't that cool? You read these and you're like, wow.
Yep.
So Seth said, after reading the Silmarillion, I went from disliking Isildur to feeling kind of bad for him. Since then, I felt myself liking him more and more with each reread, but I feel like the show could make me love him. That would cause his end to hurt that much more and ultimately succeed in pulling me even deeper into the story. I think it could be really cool. Stefan Byrne said, as cool as it'd be if Isildur was the main character, I don't know if I'd want that. They can't touch the Third Age, and I feel like it would suck to build up Isildur and not be able to complete his character arc with his becoming king and then dying in the Anduin. It's a great point. Mm-hmm. What I'd love to see is Eriador and Celebrimbor as king and making the rings. Preach.
Holy.
And Khazad-dûm in its glory. Wow. Stefan, great points. Phil Willis, the Last Alliance battle happened in the Second Age, so they can definitely explore that. But yeah, I'd love to see Khazad-dûm. Yeah, we got a couple more here. Spencer Johnson said Isildur would be nice, but I'm leaning more towards some form of episodic structure with multiple characters to follow, each taking the main spotlight at different times. So kind of like the movies that we've known. I think this because we have to remember that the Second Age is 3,441 years long. Men of Numenor live long lives, but none of them are touching anything near the 1,000s. For that, we'd need an elf, Maya or Vala. Also, the Second Age ended with Sauron's defeat by the Last Alliance and Isildur's subsequent death, beginning the Third Age. So if we followed only Isildur, we'd be coming in at the tail end of the Second Age, with the bulk of the Second Age already having passed before we arrived. If they're going to do things like give us 20 episodes per season, he's bringing up some great points.
Yeah.
And then plan on giving us 4 or 5 seasons, then I think we'd need an elf as at least one of the main characters,
like a common thread,
or maybe Sauron, like we were talking
yeah,
about.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fascinating?
I'm
starting to fall in love with that idea.
It would be yeah. Do you remember how almost at one point the necromancer seemed like it was something else?
Yes.
And so if you had someone who we thought was
and the necromancer was actually played by Benedict Cumberbatch, so a different actor than the one who was voicing him in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Wow. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Then we need an elf. Maybe Elrond. He was born near the end of the First Age, I believe, so he was just starting out in life as the Second Age began. So Elrond would be cool, but then you got the whole question: who do we cast?
I think you go completely new,
right?
And that's okay,
right?
This is a new, it's fine. That is fine to do,
right?
You got to separate the two. You know why you have to separate the two? Because the estate did as well, and they won't let this influence that. So that's okay.
I think as long as the worlds look the same, that stuff's not going to matter.
That's going to be important.
It's not going to matter.
You got more? Yeah, keep going. This is great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to me, as you're reading that, I'm thinking like, okay, if we got one shot at this, we want to get the foundation. I mean, like we want to understand, what takes place early on, the foundation of Numenor. We want to see maybe a little touch on the Blue Mountains and sort of this first millennia, right? And we don't want to skip right past that.
No, I think you got to start from the beginning of the Second Age.
Right.
That's why I wanted the War of Wrath to be the prologue.
Yeah.
Because you get in there, you get sucked into the Second Age. There's that tie to Sauron.
Yep.
Who we don't know very well. He's very mysterious. We want to know him more. And then you also get that tie back to looking ahead to, okay, well, someday we'll do a First Age show and we can learn about this Morgoth guy.
How are they going to push us time-wise? Are they going to come up and say, are there going to be year, like, that would be kind of cool if they said.
That would be kind of cool, actually.
Timestamps in the corner, and you're like, oh, okay, maybe we did move 5 years on. Like, we've moved on or something. It's just, boy, that's going to be something to navigate.
Yeah, because we kind of lose track of time.
There's so many gaps.
In the films, right? Because I mean, unless you know the stories, you don't really know how long the Fellowship. There's no real acknowledgement of how much time has gone by. I mean, even from Bilbo's party to when they actually leave, it's 17 years. It could be that in the movie, but it doesn't seem like that long. but it's never addressed specifically. Another thing they do in the movies that is kind of clever to like sort of address time is the narration, right? Of like Galadriel.
Yeah.
Of even Gandalf at times. Like
right.
there's that kind of voiceover aspect of someone telling the story to us, which I guess you could kind of use aspects of that. I don't know, man. That almost like, well, it doesn't, I don't know because I've only seen a few episodes, but doesn't Game of Thrones do that? They'll put like, especially places, like they'll flash the place name.
Yeah,
they'll do a wide shot of the place and you'll see the name. Are there years there too?
There aren't really years, no.
Okay.
But see,
would that feel too different from Lord of the Rings, though?
What visually? I'm worried about is that if you're talking about even just this first millennia in the Second Age, how much are we going to cover of that? And is it going to be one season? Or are we talking like how?
Well, that's the thing.
Like, what's the pacing on this?
I guess that's the other thing that
what's your goal?
Right.
Yeah, right.
So they set up to 5 seasons, right? If every season is 20 episodes, and you're staying in the Second Age that whole time, and then maybe the next 5 seasons after you lock that down is we go back to the First Age. Maybe we don't either.
Because with elves you can do that, and you know, even Numenorians, right? Like that was a great point. I forget who you said made that, but like, yeah, they have that extended life, but not as long, not that long. Right. So maybe we need to live inside one of our kings. You know, instead of their lifespan, and see what their reign was like. How long was their reign, and when they that might be an interesting way to do it. And then the common thread between, so that's inside of a season, but then as you go through the series, you have Elrond, right?
Yeah.
You've got him kind of as a common thread.
Yeah,
I don't know. That would be interesting.
I mean, the more we're talking about the Sauron thing, I really like, because I'm almost kind of curious too. Could you? If you don't show the War of Wrath, that's going to be interesting too, because you won't be able to explain what led up to
people wouldn't know,
the world being. Yeah, they wouldn't
mainstream.
Know. Right. They wouldn't know. You're right. But how do you address those questions? Will they not have questions? Maybe, I don't know. It seems like you'd have questions of, well, how did we get here? You know what I mean? There's no like.
Sure, that's fine.
So we're just plopping us down here. Okay. So you have to. So if you do that, you can't start with something that explains how the reforming of Middle Earth, right? The reshaping, the flooding, and all that stuff. Doesn't that happen between first, like the end of the First Age and the beginning of the Second? So, if you can't talk about that, then the only thing you can trust in, because it's so different. It's 3,000 years before. You need a character that you know. So my question is, would there be a way for them to do? I don't know because I don't know Second Age. I don't know the story. Could you trick people like me into thinking that Anatar and Sauron were 2 different characters, in the same way that Celebrimbor was tricked? Do you know what I'm saying? And then have some kind of reveal where you realize they were the same. Like, for people who know the stories, they'd be like, "Oh,
that's
yeah, we saw that coming."
That's kind of what they were trying to do with Palpatine, and right, his dark side presence, right?
True.
You're not showing them at the same time, and they're interacting with different audiences. And, what have you, and you don't realize it's the same. It's the same. That's actually not a bad idea.
But I don't think as many people would know.
Yeah,
If you want, so another thing that you could do too is if you wanted to tie into both introducing Numenor and relating to someone that we do know, anchoring it in a character we do know, is you could go with Elros, because he is Elrond's brother. And twin brother, and first king of Numenor. So you could have that anchor into a character we know in Elrond, and then also kind of the beginning of men being on the island of Numenor, in that beginning of those
that's got
kingdom,
like somewhere around, like they gotta,
which also ties into what I mean. When Sauron comes and tries to corrupt it, right, and does all that manipulation and
Here's my
isn't this fun to talk about though?
It's so actually cool. We will probably, when we finish up with the chapter, go in and you and I are going to do some research.
Yeah, I like it.
Because my homework assignment for our listeners is, some of you've added me on Facebook, you've added Lane on Facebook. Please do that. Hit us up on social media. Someone send me a homework. Your homework assignment is to send me a homework assignment.
Some research,
yeah. Because I'm kind of like all over the place. Like I get going and I follow these little rabbit holes through the gateway, or then I get into, some of the histories and it's, like the unfinished tales and things like that. And, and you heard me the other day working back through the Silmarillion. Like someone send me some homework. Okay. So that's for you guys.
Okay. It's coming in. It's coming in hot. Okay. So that's all we have show news wise. Keep your ears out. Don't forget the sniffing. Alert us as soon as you find out. Thank you guys for so many of you do. You post it in the group and it's there. And we see that, and we're able to stay up to date on everything. So thank you so much for all that. Tolkien Biopic is out on Blu-ray and DVD. It's been out digitally for a couple weeks now.
Is it on Laserdisc or what's going on there?
Laserdisc is delayed.
Okay.
I guess they only make it in a small corner of Cambodia at this time, but it will be coming very soon.
Right.
The only thing I was bummed was there aren't tons in the way of like behind the scenes content and extras and like any kind of documentary on how they made the film. But
I thought this was the best.
They are.
Yeah.
But I was like thinking to myself, I'm like, you know what? It's such a good thinking to myself. It's such a good movie. It doesn't really need it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think it even needs it.
Yeah.
Sarah and I stayed up the other night and watched a good it was until he found out Edith was engaged and he's singing out on the lawn.
Yeah.
And Jeff comes and finds him and he's drunk, and we were exhausted, so we went to bed then, but
it
is so good. And the music.
Yeah.
You forget about the music and just like, I don't know, the chemistry that he and Nicholas Hoult and Lily Collins had. Yeah. I mean, man,
it's good.
And Dome said we ever get out to his neck of the woods, he'll do a special day for us. So
sweet.
If we get him on the phone, that'd be pretty cool, though.
That would be cool.
In other corners of Middle Earth, studio update. We are going to be doing the electrical very soon, within the next couple weeks. And then from there on, it's insulation and drywall and flooring and tidying.
Actually, once we get the electric in, I mean, we're talking, the rest of that can go pretty quick in a weekend. It's the drywalling and the finishing is going to be, quite a task. But once we get that,
it might be roughed out for you guys at the party.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know if that sounded right.
Please still come to the party.
Oh, Lord. Lord bless them. So studio's coming along. Again, thank you for all your support. We promise you that when it's all finished, it will be something to be very proud of. So, and we're honored just to be able to do it.
Yep.
The long-expected party is quickly approaching. It's about a week away. Good Lord. It feels like it. It's about a month away, Ezra.
Yep.
Saturday, September 21st. So we talked about it a little bit. Actually, one of our Bywater Post letters has to deal with it directly, very excitingly as well.
Okay.
And we gave folks on Discord a little tease of the itinerary.
Yeah.
So it's going to involve kind of a meetup on Friday night. Ezra has had this dream of wanting to shut down the village here in Amanda.
Right.
Our restaurant and bar. And so
I will personally shut it down.
We're gonna arrange I don't know what time we'll meet up there, but we're gonna meet up, we're gonna drink and eat and have a good time and kind of pregame it and then stumble our way home like Samwise and Frodo from the Green Dragon.
Do you think
And then
I want to serve drinks to people there. I'm going to talk to him about that, the owner.
Oh, I'm sure he'll let you do that.
Yeah.
We'll talk to him. We'll start what's it called? Prepping him.
Cool.
And then Saturday, we'll kick things off in the afternoon about 3 o'clock. We're going to have 3 meals. We're going to have afternoon tea, dinner, and supper. We're also going to have dessert, which will be, we're going to try and replicate or pay homage to Bilbo's cake. Afternoon tea will be traditional English tea kind of deal, or as not much as I can figure anyway. The cucumber sandwiches.
Let's go.
Seed cakes and variety of teas and coffees. I have to do it every time.
That's
Dinner
crazy.
is going to be the potato cook-off. So last year it was a 3-way tie between EB, CJ, and DF.
Yep.
And it was an incredible. We truly could not judge it. We had to pick those 3. So. Potato cook-off that Ezra, myself, and then Bill Joe Baggins will judge, and then we'll award the golden potato, and then we'll all feast on potatoes. And then supper will be, we don't know yet. It's going to be a bunch of food. The Shire rats are going to want to cook. If you have a dish that you want to bring, that you want everyone to taste, it's Middle Earth themed.
Yeah.
Go for it. We're going to go for
Lembas bread, whatever you want.
Lembas bread. We're gonna. I plan on cooking some meats and some. So we'll get some veggies and some good hearty Hobbit food. Maybe some roasted tomatoes, things like that. You know.
Be prepared too. The Flannel Wizard will be there making an appearance, and
that's right, in his true form.
In his true form, and I got a couple spells to put on the drinks. So get ready.
We're going to have some games. There's going to be a scavenger hunt involved. There's going to be trivia that Philip Willis and Sherston are going to be putting on. Plus, you'll get to meet all of your upper brothers and sisters, which is pretty amazing.
That's pretty amazing.
There may or may not be. Well, I won't say that one because I'm not really sure. When it gets dark enough, we're going to have a fire. We'll throw one of the movies or Tolkien up on the projector onto the garage. The studio will be kind of roughed out, so we can check that out. There might be a speech at the end. What else? What am I forgetting, bud?
Is there? I don't know if this is one you weren't going to mention. Is there going to be a big? Is so and so's
that again?
Yeah, it's the letters.
Still, I wasn't picking that up. I'm the worst lip reader. It sounded like you said coffee.
Close, very close. It is she who will be bringing. Is it?
I don't know. I have to measure. We got to measure out back because she gave me dimensions.
That would be sick.
I don't know if it'll fit. Yeah, someone might be.
It'll fit.
All right, someone might be driving.
It'll fit right out here too.
I mean, that's true. It might hit the tree though.
Who cares?
I love that tree.
No. I don't mean to hit the tree.
Come on, dude. Tolkien would.
No, I mean park back in front of the tree.
Oh yeah.
Here. We'll take up a couple spots.
Can you park those on the street?
I don't know, but this is Amanda.
Probably an Amanda. You can do anything.
You're the mayor. You tell me.
So, geez, I feel like there's something else. It'll be a lot of fun though. We'll have Shire music going the whole time. Hopefully, it'll be a beautiful, dry, cool September day. But it'll probably be
rained last time, didn't
super hot and rainy, but we will roll with it and have fun no matter what. And then we kind of wanted to follow it up. This was Sarah's idea. She said, "What if we put out a time and a place at Hocking Hills?" Which is about 20 minutes from us here in Amanda, that if people wanted to go take a morning hike before they head home, we could show them some more of this little corner of the Shire. Yeah. So we're going to do that. It's going to be an amazing time. I know a lot of you are going, I can't make it this year. Why are you saying this? But don't worry.
We're going to vlog and record.
Yeah, we're going to record. There'll be all kinds of stuff we'll put out there. We'll probably even pass around the phone for Facebook Live at some point just so everyone can,
absolutely.
can see what's going on.
Social media takeovers.
Yes, that's right. Social media takeovers. And, this is the plan. I mean, I don't know how much longer it's going to fit in the backyard. But good Lord. But we're not going to stop this anytime soon. We got to, in the same way that Frodo continued to celebrate Bilbo's birthday when he was long gone, we will continue to celebrate this. And it's going to be, it's going to continue to grow. And we were talking about this, how last year we didn't know anybody, right?
Yeah.
We knew Mike Charles. We knew Dave Fogel.
Yeah, we knew a couple people. Yeah,
we knew my parents.
Right.
Our good friends, and but like the Joneses, we didn't know.
Right.
Susie and the Millhouses, the Shirerites, we didn't know.
Right.
Didn't know Nick.
Right. And
so it was amazing, and it's even more amazing to think that they're coming in and we'll know them.
Yep.
And also, wasn't the Facebook group not very old at that point?
Yes, it was not.
So there wasn't all this interaction and people talking and adding each other as friends, and I don't know, the friendships that have arisen we don't even know about, right? The secret conversations. There might be a marriage out here. Bobby might be conducting it right here. Who knows?
Smokes.
But
am I getting married? I didn't even know.
Are we dyeing our hair? Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
Is it going to be fairy flame? I don't know.
Is it golden? I don't know.
But so it's just really exciting to think about. People are going to come into it anticipating to meet each other instead of just kind of. It was sort of this thing last year. We're like, I don't know what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
But it'll be fantastic.
I hope we can pull it off. Let's be.
Yeah. Whew. Is everyone fed? Okay, then we're good. Yeah. So the poll results from last time. Would you rather defend Minas Tirith, ride with the Rohirrim? 28% of you said I'd rather defend Minas Tirith. 72% said I want to ride with the Rohirrim. 295 of you voted. That's more like it, people.
Let's go.
We've been a little skimpy on our. It's probably because of the polls I created weren't that great, but we're back in true form here. I love it. Were you surprised by those results?
The ride with the Rohirrim?
Yeah, man.
I kind of expected that.
You did?
Yeah, I really did. Just
I thought that would really bring out our true Gondorian lovers, like the people who just love Gondor.
28% of them. Yeah. The ground troops in this chapter, man. I mean,
that's true. Yeah, that's true. There weren't many of them there. And then you had this little bonus poll that you pulled out of the files.
Yeah.
Who would win in a fight, Falkor or Smaug?
Yep.
Smaug apparently would devastate Falkor. Falkor was smiling in the picture too. I mean, he's not a very scary.
It's just
dragon.
It's just unfortunate that people don't understand
his strength,
how powerful Falkor is. That's just really unfortunate. And so
Atreyu.
I feel like it's my job to educate you a little bit.
Yeah.
He's a luck dragon. Okay, so
so he would just luck out.
We'll just move on from there.
Okay, so 236 of you voted. Not bad, rookie, for putting a poll out.
Thank
That's
you.
a lot of votes.
Come on now.
I need to turn that over to you. Be making your job.
Stepping up.
So also wanted to say, go check out the Minas Tirith Archives History of Middle-earth podcast. Get filled in.
Yep.
He's got 3 episodes up. He's got the Shire, Frodo Baggins, Samwise Gamgee. I learn something every time. I learn lots of some things every time. And it's just amazing. Please go check it out. It's incredible.
Yeah.
We also had this little kind of challenge, I guess, that Travis Sigler threw down. He discovered that there is an actual castle nearby.
It's a magical castle.
Us. Actually, it's in Kurt and Kelly's backyard.
Right.
Down there in Cincy. And so the challenge has got to have been brought forth for us to go record at a castle in Ohio by the name of, just test my French here, the Chateau La Roche, or also known as the Loveland Castle. And Ez and I were looking at it, and we're going to do it.
Wow.
We're going to do it. It might be a collaboration. It might be...
Yeah.
I don't know yet.
It might. Who knows?
But
we don't know.
We thought it might
Let's
be kind
not
of cool.
go. Yeah.
Okay.
The bold statements, my friend. You just said we're going to do it. Now just keep it right there.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to go record there. There will be an episode. So Travis also said, when the bannermen of the West ride forth to visit your humble abode, we shall most likely visit here as well. But it's pretty incredible. Allegedly, this guy built it by hand, brick for brick. So it'd be cool to have, I don't know if they have some kind of historian there who could jump in during quick counsel and tell us the history of the place and why the guy decided to build it here, Mr. Andrews, Sir Andrews. But yeah, so
that's awesome.
It really is.
It is cool.
The Shire out here, guys, and on the borders we have some strange things.
Yep,
you know?
absolutely. That's nerve wracking.
Down by the river,
we didn't know it was in the white spaces, but boy,
we heard rumors.
But
that was just village talk, you know, down at the bar.
Yep, that's awesome.
All right, man, we into the reread.
We are.
Wow,
that was
a lot of stuff there.
A lot of good stuff, though. I like it.
Yeah.
It's fitting because this is an epic chapter.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to quickly say this. I met with some folks down in Florida, and they were excited about this upcoming chapter. So more on them later, and we'll give shout-outs.
More on?
What'd you call me? We will give shout-outs later on to those folks. I went down for a little special event. I'm going to do a little something on Patreon for that, but then give those guys. It was just cool. We went down there and unexpectedly came across some friends, and
it's pretty amazing. Huh?
They were excited for this chapter for a lot of good reasons. So, but yeah, the Battle of the Pelennor Fields. So here we go, friends. Quick summary, and we're gonna do some of our big takeaways. I've been liking that, right? So this massive black beast shows up, swoops down.
Yep.
On our king.
Yeah.
Theoden.
Yeah. No good.
It's not good. Snowmane is hit with a poison dart.
Yep.
And rears up and he's kind of crushed, hurt.
Snowmane becomes Bane.
Yeah.
Right? As the song says.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's more on Snowmane later, right?
Yeah.
But so what was cool about this chapter, something like his the king's men. The Kingsmen, his knights around him, if you will, almost, right, are there. So his guard, right? Yeah. I never really thought about the king having a set group that
sure.
they would just follow him anywhere and everywhere. I kind of thought, well, it's all one big host or whatever, but no. Their eyes are on him, and they will be around him. And I can only imagine they're the deadliest. Like they are just the best of the best.
Yep.
It's what I started to kind of think, and I was like, man, if these guys are that terrified, right? And they're kind of this beast had swooped down, and scares the daylights literally, out of everyone in this entire place. I don't know, man. It's something, right? Durnhelm is there.
Yes.
Thank goodness, Durnhelm is there, right? So he sees. So after he's thrown from his horse as well, right? Durnhelm challenges the Witch King. Okay, Merry's there, crawling on all fours.
Yeah. Can't even open his eyes.
No.
So scared he can't even open his eyes.
Right. Heard Durnhelm speak, and I think it's where some of the courage comes in. There's a little bit more. I love the way they describe the stirring that happens inside of Merry, right, in this chapter. Just of his people, this patient kind of drawn out stirring that rises in him. Really cool. So great confrontation. I'm not going to go into that. That'll be something we really touch on. But Eowyn being there, the lady in disguise, right?
Yeah.
Huge.
Big time.
Huge, man. I mean, yeah. Okay. The winged steed is there as well, and so you got two. You kind of I sometimes forget, like, you've got the Witch King, but you've also got the Beast.
Yeah.
Two enemies.
I know.
Okay, and it made me think more about why Merry is there and sort of the help that he provides, and I just kind of forgot about it. I don't really remember him playing that type of role.
Super quick and kind of stealthy too.
But also extremely important.
If it didn't happen,
Extremely important.
Yeah, if it didn't happen.
So there's that. But yeah, so the back and forth between the Witch King, ultimately we'll talk about how that all goes down, you guys know. And then there's some of this stuff with Theoden, his dying words, him reaching out to Éomer, and it's just I don't know, it's the banner, the King's banner comes into play.
Yeah.
The passing of that. It's such a great chapter, but there's bits we were talking earlier, right? Like, why did Tolkien do what he did in this chapter with that final conversation? And why couldn't there have been more? There's a reason he does it, and we can talk about that, but it's just like, it pulled on the heartstrings because I'm just torn apart. Because
it makes it pretty real too, doesn't it?
Yeah,
that's how it really happened.
Right. You forget about the stirrings, like the battle, that's kind of going on around them, and it's actually Merry who reminds us.
Realizes, realizes,
here it's happening. So I don't know, but there's still there's this host. There's just all sorts of. We'll get into the battle tactics too. Some cool things in this chapter, right? Were the way in which both sides. You got to be careful about how aggressive you are and how far if you get too separated from one another, and you're on this massive battlefield, like commanding thousands and thousands of troops, so that coordination is pretty important.
And even controlling your energies. Right. Like we see, Theoden goes down and Éomer is overcome, and he just it just all comes out, man. And maybe maybe it was the right move. Maybe it was because it worked out, but.
Well,
could have not. It could have not worked out.
Could have not, and that Imrahil comes out right as well. The prince, freaking epic moment. Okay, by the way, I'm just in love with this guy.
He's fearless.
He's awesome. But he's out there, and you're realizing that just some of their tactics. I mean, this is just, you're in the heat of battle, and I every time we come across a battle scene, and I think back to watching the biopic, and then also watching the documentary. What was it? They shall never grow old.
They shall not grow old. Yep.
And I'm like, thinking about those influences. It's like, the battle plans may not go. It just you got the spirit. You've got this. I don't know. Like, they were united. They had a quick, not a quick plan, but the directions are given in the last chapter, right? Theoden tells them what to do. who's going to go where, who's taking the flank, who's going down the center. After that, I mean, he's leading up to the marshals. I mean, each of you are in kind of command, and like,
we see even sometimes like the horses are so bewildered that it doesn't even matter what the riders want.
Right.
They're so struck with fear that they can't be controlled.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, another thing.
So all these factors.
Like at times,
something like how at what point commanding those forces would be hard, because you'd be like, all right, well, I gotta rally everyone together, or at least have to make some kind of call to let everyone know, and when and how, and I don't know, just even your small faction would be tough, because you would all be all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah,
especially on horseback.
Right, and think about too. What's neat about them being on horseback though is that when Theoden says to me, like they're okay. What I mean, you hear the king's booming voice, and you can hear his horn sounding. You see his banner, and you're rallying to his banner. I'm like, let's
go. Man. I know.
Rally to the king. I mean, it just so cool.
Yeah.
So let's just dive in here. It kind of starts off with this interesting little.
I love the way it picks up.
Yeah, bracketed paragraph, if you will. Yep. But it was no Orf chief. Orf. Off to a great job with the reading, but it was no orc chieftain that led the assault upon Gondor. The darkness was breaking too soon before the date that his master had set for it. The darkness was breaking too soon before the date that his master had set for it. Right? So it's also interesting just in that line, right? That they've laid their own plans, and did they want to prolong this, or what? Like, did they not want a swift, quick victory? There's something, those that live in the dark seem to want to prolong the, torture and make you feel every. I don't know. Maybe it's something in like the spreading of fear. They think like if we really, like we can, it helps us win quicker. I don't know. I just kind of thought that struck me that the plan. The darkness was breaking too soon before the date that his master had set for it. Fortune had betrayed him for the moment, and the world had turned against him. Victory was slipping from his grasp, even as he stretched out his hand to seize it. But his arm was long. He was still in command, wielding great powers. King, Ringwraith, Lord of the Nazgul. He had many weapons. He left the gate and vanished. So what's going on, right, with that?
Right.
Remember, because last time we saw him, he was facing down.
Showdown with Gandalf.
Right.
Yeah.
It says, but his arm was long. Let me see here. So Victor was slipping from his grasp even as he stretched out his hand to seize it. Wow. We heard the sounding of the horn, and all that stuff is going on. So
I thought it was a great way to enter back into. I mean, I guess if you're reading this in continuation, it's more seamless, but for us who meet every 2 weeks, it's a great way that gets you right back into it. You see that this is unexpected, right? This wasn't planned. Like, there isn't supposed to be this other force. Like, we hear these horns. What is this other for? We were supposed to crush Gondor. Gondor was supposed to be isolated.
Yep. Exactly.
And that's not how it's going to happen. Not happy about that. As the Lord of the Nazgul.
Exactly.
And so I got to go. I got to get my other weapons. I got to go get my mace. I got to jump on the back of the fell beast.
That was my thing. Did he comes in on horseback at first, right?
Yes, when he's with Gandalf, he's on horseback.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so we're sort of like, what?
Up the ante. He's got to go take out some horses.
There's a hint here that he's got other powers and other weapons at his disposal. So
yep.
Yeah. All right. So now
interesting too that it doesn't say anything about Gandalf.
No.
It's just boom, because this chapter isn't focused on Gandalf whatsoever.
Not at all. And actually, there's one little mention like, why isn't he here?
Yeah.
Where's
Mary?
he at?
It's Mary who thinks. Isn't it funny? We talk about this all the time. How those hobbits are always thinking of those. It's Gandalf. It's what would Strider do? It's where are my hobbit friends? It's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's it. It's never like, I wonder what Legolas is doing, or I wish Gimli was here. It's those people, those really, really important ones that Not that the others aren't important, but
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. So now Theoden, King of the Mark, when he sets out here, it's just there's an interesting. Think about if you're reading this for the first time, and we got I was listening on the way down here to the Shire, and I'm midway through this chapter, and I remembered back to a line very quickly that Durnhelm was with him. Just real fast. Why?
Yeah.
Why does it matter? Well, originally when you're reading this, you're thinking, well, that's a marker for Mary. Right?
True.
That's all you're really thinking.
That's
and
true.
This is
That's
kind of
true.
cool. There's something interesting about this Durnhelm character, but we don't really know.
And that they had said that Durnhelm wasn't supposed to be with the king,
Mhm.
right? He was supposed to be with Elfhelm, right?
Yep, that's
Yeah.
right. Yep. Yeah, because they had near the walls, Elfhelm's men were among the siege engines, right? Hewing, slaying, driving their foes into the fire
But they're
pits.
just kicking butts. They're kicking butts, man.
Yeah. You remember how, I think they were coming out, where were they coming out of? And they in the Fellowship, and they had come across a couple different orcs or orc chieftains, and it's like once the chieftain was killed.
Yeah, the rest scattered.
Yeah, right. Those seem to
Yep.
be their kind of
Yep.
their characteristics. So I thought a lot about that when I was reading this chapter. Just that may be, I mean, they're on horseback and they are epic. Even Theoden is just like hewing, like just slaying.
Yeah.
His enemy. So
You have the idea that the victory's won.
right.
That
Right.
like this was quick and the turnaround is crazy, and Rohan made all the difference.
Yeah. So yeah, it says now it gives a description here of like what's going on in this Pelennor field, right? There's
Yeah.
the idea that it was overrun, that their camps were blazing, orcs were flying towards the river like
Yeah.
herds before hunters.
Yep.
The Rohirrim went hither and thither at their will. So really, at this first kind of, they didn't see this coming. They weren't, as you said, they weren't expecting it.
Focused on Gondor, on Minas Tirith, right? They were focused on the city and not on this
Right.
cavalry coming in and
Right.
kicking butt.
Yeah. Again, back to Han, paving the way, making sure they get there. Right. I mean,
Or gone.
whichever. But really,
very Han.
that was
Yeah,
the
buddy.
idea, that they weren't paying attention, and
Yep.
so
Yep.
here we are. Southward beyond the road lay the main force of the Haradrim. Now this is interesting.
Yes, it is.
And their horsemen were gathered about the standard of their chieftain. And he looked out in the growing light and saw the banner of the king. So these are two pretty serious dudes,
Yeah.
right? I don't know why I hadn't thought about this, right? But the king's banner that
It's a signal almost too, right?
here I am,
Yep.
right?
Right.
And this chieftain, did they ever name him, by the way? Let me look down here.
I don't think
But
so.
he has that standard that has the is it crimson with a black serpent?
Black serpent upon scarlet. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, he came against the white horse and the green with great press of men, and the drawing of the scimitars
Yeah.
with the Southrons was like a glitter of stars. I mean, it's just so
His language in this chapter,
right.
it is. There's no other chapter that even comes close.
Yeah.
It doesn't even come close, dude.
I know
Like,
it's-
how does he make battle so beautiful? Beautiful.
And you actually have to take your time reading this. So, like, when I was
Yeah.
listening to it, I was like, I got to go back because
Yeah.
I feel like things are happening fast,
Uh-huh.
and we're getting these different sequence of events, like points, and
Yeah.
I'm missing something because like right out the gate, I'm actually really trying to slow myself down here to like pay attention to this little fight. I mean, it's a cool fight.
It's a moment. Yeah, it's a moment.
Right?
I love that he doesn't wait for him either.
Yeah.
He doesn't wait for the Haradrim leader to come to him. He goes to, like, he rides at him, right? It says, then Theoden was aware of him and would not wait for his onset, but crying to Snowman, he charged headlong to greet him. Like, this is not the Theoden we met in Edoras.
Right, right.
I just think that this just magnifies it even more. That I guess the last chapter ended in the same way, comparing him to Orome, right?
Absolutely.
The
I was thinking
warrior
that.
of old.
Yeah.
And how he's almost kind of It's very like Norse Viking-ish. Like he's earning. When he talks about the halls of his fathers, and how he's about to go to them later on in the chapter, it's like he's earning his place in, you know, the afterlife, in the great house of his ancestors.
Man,
he's just legendary. He's becoming even more of a. I mean, I guess I don't know what he was known for
like
really before.
He's like transcended here. I mean,
Yes.
he's literally
Yeah.
leveled up, and it's
leveled up.
It's
probably the perfect way to say it.
yeah. Well, the description here too is really neat, right? So great was the clash of their meeting. That alone is epic. So great was the clash of their meeting. But the white fury of the Northmen burned the hotter, and more skilled was their knighthood.
Yeah.
We mentioned knights, by the way. I always kind of forget. Like, they have knights.
Yeah.
I mean, just in the the king
They're
was
not all
surrounded by
farmers. Yeah.
was surrounded by his knights, and it talks about their skill and how they've honed their fighting abilities. It's fantastic. So, it says they were more skilled with their knighthood, with spears, right? So they were very skilled in that regard. Fewer were they, but they clove through the Southrons like a firebolt in a forest. Wow.
I'm telling you, dude. Like he creates such strong pictures in your head.
Right.
With just, I mean, that's almost okay. The dude that reminds me of is Lewis. It's a very simple illustration that you go, yep, I can see it.
Right.
I can see it. I know exactly what that would. Either I've seen it on TV or out in the woods.
Yeah.
You know, that image of just no barrier, right through, so much stronger.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it just kind of, like even the next couple lines where, you know, Theoden, basically he threw down their chieftain, right? See, you know, he outswept his sword, and he spurred to the standard. Huge staff and bear. Okay, he cut the staff in half and the bear, right? And the black serpent foundered, right?
Yeah.
By the way, as you said, some of the word I'm just like, really? Like, it's awesome.
It's unreal.
So, cut that guy down, and you can imagine too. Does it say later on that they were a little bit more hardy, like they didn't scatter as much, maybe as like our orc friends will, but yeah. So, this is where he starts kind of crying. To me, right? But lo, suddenly in the midst of the glory of the king, his golden shield was dimmed. The new morning was blotted from the sky. Dark fell about him. Wow. Horses reared and screamed. Men cast from the saddle, lay groveling on the ground. Is it the scream? Is it the presence? What is it that causes them to be unnerved and to go crazy, right?
And just the shape that they're seeing from the sky that they hadn't really seen yet, right? This fell beast coming down too, because we get a description that only Tolkien would do. He takes like that whole next paragraph and describes, after Theoden talks, describes like the backstory of this creature, just to show how vile and disgusting and terrifying it was, that everyone was freaking out for a reason. So not even just the Witch King, right? But this fell beast that he's riding upon is like totally, if it was just by itself, they would probably react in a similar way.
Why don't you read some of that? Because it is crazy here. It's talking about it compares it to other birds, but yet greater than all other birds.
Yeah. Naked, no feathers.
Yeah. Neither quill nor feather.
Yeah.
What?
And it stank.
Yeah.
Creature, this is the part I had underlined because I just thought it was fascinating. Like, I love this when he takes us back. He takes us out we're in the middle of a battle, and he's like, hold on, let me really describe how nasty this thing was. A creature of an older world, maybe it was, whose kind lingered in forgotten mountains, cold beneath the moon, outstayed their day, and in hideous eerie bred this last untimely brood, apt to evil. And the Dark Lord took it and nursed it with fell meats, until it grew beyond the measure of all other things that fly, and he gave it to his servant to be used as steed. So like this thing, it outlived its time. It should have been gone a long time ago. It's a dinosaur.
Yeah.
But somehow Sauron was able to keep these alive and
pour evil into it, really.
Yeah, like feed the tendency to be evil anyway.
Yeah.
And only make them stronger and more vile. Yeah.
Right. Now the next paragraph is kind of like a description wow, of the Witch King.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Sits upon it. So upon it sat a shape, black-mantled, huge and threatening. A crown of steel he bore. But between rim and robe, naught was there to see. We talked about that, right? When he first steps into
When Gandalf
the
sees
city,
him.
right? And we see him there. Save only a deadly gleam of eyes, so you could see this gleam of eyes.
How would that look?
I don't know. I really don't. So the Lord of the Nazgul, man. To the air he returned, summoning his steed ere the darkness failed. And now he was come again, bringing ruin, turning hope to despair, and victory to death. I mean, because really they are routing the enemy for a while.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of strength in Theoden and him. You know, seeing your king fall and seeing his horse right now, what's happening to Snowmane is it's going toe to toe with this creature and it's being taken.
Yeah.
You know, he's being, claws are digging in there. If anything, kind of protects Theoden for the most part.
Yeah.
Even though he uses his body as a shield and crushes him.
Yeah.
But what else can Snowmane do? I kind of thought like, wow, okay, life is prolonged there in a sense.
Yeah.
For the king to do what the king needs to do here at the end of this chapter.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, and a great black mace he wielded, as you said. That's a big deal.
I remember the imagery from the movie is so good. But that John Howe painting that's in the dock, you got to check that out.
Yeah,
it's a famous one.
Let me see here.
With Durnhelm doing battle. Durnhelm unhelmed.
Oh my!
Isn't that amazing? I love that illustration.
Yeah. Wow, that is insane. Yeah, because they talk about who is this again? John Howe. Yeah, this is fantastic. We'll have to put this maybe on the Facebook group.
Yeah, it's a famous one. I mean, it's like
because when Eowyn does, and here just some moments, like, you know, strikes out at this beast and cuts it down.
Yeah.
The rider rises from this mess.
Yeah.
It describes it as a mess.
Yeah.
And you can see how what that's really makes sense when you look at this illustration. So because it's just massive, like wrapping around, it's just huge.
Yeah.
It's just like she's surrounded and entangled in it. Okay, so now Theoden, right? I mean, he seems like he's forsaken, but he's not.
Yeah.
Right. There are knights of his house that lay slain around him, for sure. Yet one stood there, though. There was still one who stood, Durnhelm the Young, faithful beyond fear.
Yeah.
And he wept, for he had loved his lord as a father. Right through the charge, Mary had been borne unharmed behind him until the shadow came, and then Winfula had thrown them in his terror. Is that the name of the horse?
Mm-hmm.
Have we gotten that before?
I think so.
Did we?
I think so. When
that's why I just love that. I love that he does that.
Yep. Reminds us of the animals, doesn't he?
Good gravy.
Yeah.
Yeah, had thrown them in terror. So yeah, this is where we said earlier he's kind of crawling around and he's in a bit of a daze, eyes closed.
Yeah.
It's this happened to all of them, really. It's this presence.
Yeah, it's out of fear, right? I mean, that's like, is there some other power there too? Maybe, I guess. But it seems like he can't open his eyes. He's just he's like petrified.
Yeah, right.
You know,
right.
And isn't it the voice that gives him strength to look? The voice that he hears. Is that right?
Yeah. Because at first, right,
here.
he's telling himself that he's a king's man, and he should be near his king.
Yeah.
Because
as a father, you shall be to me. You said.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. But his body's shaking.
Yeah. His will made no answer. He dared not open his eyes or look up.
Right. Oh man. Yeah. And then so this voice that seems strange, right, was coming. He expected to hear Durnhelm's voice.
Right.
Yeah. And he had heard
Durnhelm's
voice.
Yep.
So this is foreign, but yet, oh wait, I recall that voice somehow, right?
Yep.
Well, you want to read that from what we know as Eowyn there?
Yeah. Begone, foul Dwemer Lake, Lord of Carrion. Leave the dead in peace. Cold voice answered, come not between the Nazgul and his prey, or he will not slay thee in thy or he will not slay thee in thy turn. He will bear thee away to the houses of lamentation beyond all darkness, where thy flesh shall be devoured, and thy shriveled mind be left naked to the lidless eye.
Jaimini.
Quite a threat.
I mean, it's so I'm not going to kill you quickly. Remember,
I'm going to torment you.
Remember, I said earlier, like the plan is probably not to take the city quick,
right?
And to do. It's weird, right? It's
evil likes to torture
weird.
us, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. A sword rang as it was drawn. He doesn't have to say whose it is, man. It's just like, you know whose it is. Do what you will, but I will hinder it, if I may. Hinder me? Thou fool. No living man can hinder me. Then Mary heard of all sounds in that hour the strangest. It seemed that Durnhelm laughed, and the clear voice was like the ring of steel. Jeez, dude. But no living man am I. You look upon a woman. Eowyn I am, Eowyn's daughter. You stand between me and my lord and kin. Be gone, if you be not deathless. For living or dark undead, I will smite you if you touch him.
Dude, I mean,
you know what I think about? I think about Sarah, obviously. Mm-hmm. I think about Charlotte. But I think about Winnie. Mm-hmm. Big time. This just seems like something Winnie would do.
Yeah.
Someone Winnie will grow up to be.
Mm-hmm. Man, yeah, for sure. I do too. I was
like, dude, I don't care who you are. She just says, I don't care who you are.
Mm-hmm. I actually was thinking today when I was in there talking to Sarah about my sister Sarah.
Yeah.
A little bit as we were prepping for this chapter, and I was just sort of like, me being Éomer, right, and her being Éomer. It's just kind of a cool thing to think about.
Oh my god, I think about that one.
Right.
It doesn't happen in here. It happens in the film when Carl Urban or Éomer runs toward, when he like lets out that scream.
Yeah.
And realizes his sister, or he thinks his sister is dead. I've always thought, like, holy cow. Mm-hmm. I couldn't do that, bro.
Yep.
Like, if Hillary was laying, I don't know, like that, yeah.
I know.
Yep, bad.
Don't go there. I mean,
don't go there.
I mean, look what happens to him. I mean,
I know.
I mean, in a way, it can be a good thing, but he was driving. It was over.
Yep.
I mean, that was to
Nothing
ruin.
Left to lose.
To ruin.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
right.
But the ringing, isn't that kind of cool? How, I mean, that ringing of the sword. All right, and then the ringing of her voice.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
And now how her voice was what caught Mary's attention.
Yes,
it's also what stops the Witch King in his tracks. Right, the idea, the words, really, that
a clever play on it too. Right,
right. That she is no man.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But no living man am I.
Yeah.
You look upon a woman. I mean,
I like that so much better than the movie. The movie's great.
Yes.
But it's just, I don't know. As always, like, it's just something else, man.
Wow. Yeah.
It's more personal. It's way more personal, isn't it? I mean, not only the threat that he makes, I'm going to go torture you and leave you for Sauron's gaze. Her saying, she just doesn't say, I am no man. You look upon a woman.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Says her name.
Mm-hmm.
Who she comes from.
Right.
Why she's not going to leave.
Yep.
And what will happen if you try to touch him.
Come on. Yep.
Like, come on, bro.
Well,
come on.
And here's the thing.
Jeez.
You know, old Witchy over here had a lot to say when he first showed up.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
Is this where he just doesn't... Yeah,
silence.
This moment.
Right? The winged creature screamed at her, right?
But the ringwraith made no answer.
It was silent.
As if in sudden doubt.
And I love what you said to me before we started this, which was that you wonder if he had heard the rumors, if he had heard the prophecies, or he knew what was said about him of old.
Yeah.
And what may come.
Kill him, right.
Yeah.
Because he would read that deeper. Because he's a powerful creature. He would read that deeper and go, no man, huh?
Because you build up in your mind, I can't be killed. Right. But then even those who live in the darkness, right? They
Right.
fear their own demise so much so that he builds this idea up in his mind
Right.
that I can't be killed.
Because we always think of the and we
'Cause
always
he's
think
afraid of it.
Right, and we always think of the no man thing as being Eowyn is a woman, but Mary also has a huge part to play in that, and he's not
That's
a
right.
man either.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, which is what kind of surprised me, and it's still it's nuts how this all works out because like her presence, her voice, that ringing stops him in his tracks. Every moment matters.
Yeah.
And it's like
They couldn't have done it without each other.
no, they couldn't have. Yeah, he couldn't have got there. She,
He wouldn't have opened his eyes if he didn't hear her voice.
That's right.
She wouldn't have been able to finish him off without his help.
Yep. It's
Wow.
crazy. So, let me see here. Move on a little bit.
Sorry, real quick, just thinking about her strength as a character, and we were watching Tolkien, and it's when it's one of his friends, I think, says, it's when he proposes to that tea room waitress, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "Our women won't be." He said, "We're talking about when Tolkien is writing stories. You won't put any damsels in distress in those. We'll have red-blooded."
Right.
Strong woman, Helheima,
Right.
and I don't know. I just thought about that. Like, I think that's a cool little touch that, you read this and you're like, all right, was that said? Was that in Tolkien's mind? It is such a flip from, typical stories like this. It's the knight saving the damsel in distress, and the woman is powerless, and not here, not what Tolkien did.
No.
And so sometimes Tolkien gets crap for like it's all male or it's mostly male characters and stuff. But look at what he's doing, right? This is like the most important part of these stories.
Yep.
If this doesn't happen, everything after sure as hell doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
And who is the one? It's her.
Oh, yeah.
It's her.
Yeah, I know. It's cool. It's really neat that he had, like, this is a huge moment. And who do you give it to?
Yeah.
And all along the way, there's this, we're trying to throw you off, and like you won't know who it is, and it's in this big reveal, and it's great because this helm of secrecy that she had fallen from her head, and this blonde, beautiful hair, pale gold, fell out upon her shoulders. Right, her eyes, gray as the sea, were hard and fell, and yet tears were on her cheek. Wow. And she has a sword raised up, right? She raises it up, and this is neat too. She raised her shield against the horror of her enemy's eyes, but it's almost like you got the tears, but you also have sort of a, what do you think's going through her mind? This is it.
Yeah.
This is it.
My last stand.
And here I will do my part. And
this is what she's longed for too, isn't it?
Right.
This is what she's wanted. Like, so think about even that, all that pent up time of like being told, hey, you can't go to the battlefield, you can't fight. Like, this isn't how you're going to help us. All that's probably rushing through her, whether it's conscious or not. That's rushing through her. And I can't imagine, man. I can't, like, catharsis for sure. Just like a release of, this is who I am.
Well, we'll get to it here in just a second, but she's skilled.
Yeah.
Very skilled.
Cuts its head off.
Absolutely.
In one blow.
Yes. I know. I mean, it's almost like one of those things where it's you're waiting, you're anticipating, you can see everything, you can smell everything, you can taste it in your mouth.
Yep.
You're in tune with the sounds. Everything is just acting on instinct. All of that training she did, everything led to this moment. And it all has to work perfectly. Yeah. That's why it's intense. That's why it's so dramatic.
Yeah.
Now, so Mary, though, right before this, starts to, you realize he is inspired by her. Also, that's the other thing. Yeah. I don't know if this would have just been any other man. If this would have been Éomer or something. I mean, I don't know. Like, there were great knights around the king. And what seems to get, as you said, rouse Mary is the fact that it's Éowyn. So that in of itself is really awesome. So he's noticing that the Black Captain is fixed on Éowyn and not paying attention to him. Mm-hmm. What's he say? He saw that he was no more than a worm in the mud.
Yeah.
Right? And he realizes he has a chance to kind of sneak up, do what hobbits do. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think he was the champion of hide and seek back in near Buckland, right?
Yep,
I mean,
for sure, man.
So suddenly the great beast beat its hideous wings, and the wind of them was foul. Again, it leapt into the air and then swiftly fell upon Éowyn, shrieking, striking with beak and claw. Can you imagine? Mm-mm. Just goes up real quick and then boom, it's like coming right back down. She did. Let's see. Still, she did not blench. Blench? Wow, what is that? Flinch is what I was going for. Is this a typo in my book?
Where?
Still, she did not.
No, blench.
What does that mean?
Flinch.
Guys.
It's a different spelling of flinch. It's the old Norse and.
I love Tolkien. I really. It's just
talk about expanding your vocabulary.
To make a sudden flinching movement out of fear of pain.
Oh, there you go.
Add that, guys. Becoming
Blench.
pale. Could be that.
Not blanch.
No.
Blench. Not bench. Blench.
So she didn't do that, just so you know.
No, she did not.
That did not happen.
Child of kings.
Yeah.
Maiden of Rohirrim.
Slender, but as
steel
blade.
Fair yet terrible.
Read it, man.
A swift stroke she dealt, skilled and deadly. The outstretched neck she clove asunder, and the hewn head fell like a stone. Backward she sprang as the huge shape crashed to ruin. Vast wings outspread, crumpled on the earth, and with its fall the shadow passed away. A light fell about her, and her hair shone in the sunrise.
Light and darkness, man. Just the
cheesy
the ebb and flow, right?
Yeah, he rises out of the wreck, right?
Out of the wreck,
and shrieks and bends over and starts swinging that mace to kill. But
Gazoon.
Excuse me. Wow, good thing that didn't happen to her. Suddenly,
could you imagine?
Something happens.
Well, hold on a second. I gotta sneeze real quick.
Hold my mace.
All
right. Suddenly he too stumbled forward with a cry of bitter pain, and his stroke went wide, driving into the ground. Merry's sword had stabbed him from behind, shearing through the black mantle and passing up beneath the hauberk, had pierced the sinew, sinew behind his mighty knee.
So there's something about this sword, right?
Yeah. So it was. I mean, it's the sword that he got back in the Barrow Downs, and it was crafted. It was crafted to kill the Witch King. It was Westernese, and it was during the war with the Witch King of Angmar in the north, who is this very same individual.
Right.
And so it's amazing how something this is also kind of nuts. All right. Something that was probably going to be used to kill them ends up killing. They used to kill.
Yeah.
Right. And something that was designed and imagined to have killed the Witch King. I'm sure when these guys were making these blades, they thought, yeah, we're going to get him real soon. We're going to get him. We're close.
Sure.
We will
right.
We'll defeat him. We'll reclaim the kingdom of the north, and it'll be ours again. And, hundreds, thousands of years later, it fulfills its purpose.
Yeah.
There's something to that. That like old things. I don't know. I don't know what it is exactly, but it's very comforting.
The purpose in which what it was made for, it has
finally did.
Yeah.
Finally. I was able to carry that out. Yeah.
Which is. Yeah.
That's what we hope for all of us, right? That our purpose will be able to.
And it's
eventually.
Think about it from the sword's perspective, right? In its early years, it's like it doesn't get to fulfill its if you will its mission, right? And now it comes back,
which is almost. Hold on a second. That's kind of like Theoden, isn't it?
I mean,
he had these years of like.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And then the influence of Grima, and he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do.
Put the sword,
And then in his
let
last,
him feel that sword back in his hand.
Yeah,
right?
and as an old man at the end of his days, at the end of the sword's days, they do what they were supposed to do. They fulfill in a big, big way.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Okay. All right. So now we're with Mary for a bit here because literally Éowyn is kind of, I mean, once she drives sort of her sword into the Witch King, right? The crown rolled away with a clang. She fell forward upon her fallen foe.
I love how he calls out to her too. Éowyn!
Yeah.
Éowyn!
Yeah. Oh man.
Like it's almost like finish him. Finish him.
Okay,
or is it like is he letting everyone around know who's doing this great thing? Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah, that is nice that her name is called like that in this moment.
And that makes it 3 times because she said I am Éowyn, and then he says it twice, 3 times. I don't know.
Oh man. But isn't it interesting too? So as the body, this I mean, what was animating this armor and this everything? It's gone.
Right.
She when she falls forward.
Yeah.
You know she's laying there on the ground with this empty armor essentially, and yeah. So a cry went up into the shuddering air and faded to a shrill wailing passing with the wind. A voice, bodiless and thin, that died and was swallowed up and was never heard again in that age of this world. I mean,
what other age will
destroy?
Destroy.
Well, yeah. That,
okay, right.
Well, there's yeah.
The return of. It's gonna get more goth in here.
Right. But
mind.
I mean, destroyed.
Yeah.
Destroyed.
Yeah.
So huge. Now we kind of follow Mary for a little bit here, and it's really his interaction because she kind of passes out, right? I mean, she's
I mean, just
close to death.
What she did was, and she also got hit with that mace too. It shattered her shield.
Yes.
So her arm is like destroyed.
Broken.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just love the description. That Mary was standing there. He uses his full name there too, Mariotic, the Hobbit. Almost like the legend is starting to. Mm-hmm. It starts right there, you know. Blinking like an owl in the daylight, for tears blinded him. You can just imagine that, like a little baby owl blinking,
looking around,
just looking around like, what's going on? And he's looking at her and seeing that she's not moving. He's looking at Theoden and thinks that he's dead too. And he goes over to, stoop and kiss and like kiss him and say like goodbye, And he starts talking.
Yeah.
He's not dead yet.
He's not. No. My body is broken, right? I go to my fathers. Wow. And even in their mighty company, I shall not now be ashamed. I felled the black serpent, which we talked about. Man, a grim morn and a glad day and a golden sunset. What I mean, that's all he could ask for, right? He came out here.
He turned the tide.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and Mary's worried about the king seeing him here and that being upset with him because he didn't follow his command.
Right. And also like he's alive and the king is dead, right? When he talks about defending the king, that means you die first.
That's right.
But yeah, true. I didn't even think about that he wasn't supposed to be here in the first place.
No. And he's worried about it. And the king tells him, "Grieve it not; it's forgiven. Don't worry about it."
Great heart will not be denied.
Yeah,
that should be on a T-shirt, man.
It really should. Great heart, will not be denied. Man,
can you get through this? It's hard, isn't it?
Well, yeah. It's just it's tough too because like what Mary's struggling with here too, and what he wants for the king and Éowyn, and he wants this possible reunion, doesn't get it, and he has to listen to this king grieving and just upset and dying. His last words, Live now in blessedness. And when you sit in peace with your pipe, think of me. We do. We do, and we will, my friend.
Yep.
Right out there by that fire.
Yep.
We'll sit with our pipes.
Yep.
Come the long-expected party.
Yep.
And we'll think about
that.
it. We will. And the sacrifice and just everything he did.
Yeah.
To literally turn the tide.
Yeah.
Imagine, too, by the way, it's not just, I know at the end, hope is also coming in another wave.
Yeah, baby.
I know that.
Come on now.
That's great.
Yeah.
But many more would have been lost in the city. If
They
not
would have been lost.
It would have been lost.
Because they really, what he does too is he helps buy time for that other. I mean, they destroy, right? They wipe out
Absolutely
forces. But you're right. I mean, if that doesn't happen, then there's a huge gap of time where they're allowed to continue to destroy Minas Tirith, and then when the Grey Company shows up, is there anything even left by that time?
Yeah, and
You
that
know
was
what I mean?
that was what's ironic too is like that's the warning given to Theoden, right? When the arrow shows up and he basically says like you'll get there too late.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I'll get there just in time.
Right.
And I need to get there first.
Right.
So that way I can buy more time for the
They're
real
all helping each other.
Yeah, for the real savior,
Yeah.
our hope. I mean, man. So yeah, I don't know. Okay, let's see. Now he starts to say, "Lord, Lord." Well, let me hold on. Let me back up here a little bit. He asks the question, "Where is Éomer?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got
For my
he
eyes
must be
darken.
king.
Yeah,
Yep.
my eyes darken, and I would see him ere I go. He must be king after me.
I wonder if that was something he had to kind of like what is the word I'm looking for? Verbalize. He had to.
He started to in chapters in previous chapters, right?
Yeah.
But I think before.
But it's because his son is no longer
That's right.
living, so he
That's
has to
right.
kind of select an heir, right? Probably, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it may be unclear. Like, well, Theoden never said he wanted you Éomer. I almost had to have his king's blessing, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know because there would be no. I don't know how airship works.
Yeah. I just remember in previous chapters, like he was making it very clear,
Yeah.
right? Which is great. But then, as you say, he feels like he needs this moment. A lot of stuff happening here under the table, guys.
Whoa.
But he feels like he needs to pass on that banner, right? He needs to hand that over.
A moment of symbolic
Right.
gesture.
Right. But he's also wishing that he could send word to Éowyn.
Dude, how ironic is this?
Just nuts. At that moment, though, when when Mary's trying to get his attention to tell him that she's just right and
Yeah.
he can't finish it because there's this clamor all about them. The horns and the trumpets were blowing, and they had forgotten about the war. This chaos that's happening around there. They had to get the king. Like they had to move him. This says that they saw they were in danger. They're caught in the very midst of the great battle.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, and then it kind of zooms out for a second, doesn't it?
Yes.
So more forces are coming up the road from the river, from the walls, legions of Morgul. Southward, you've got the Harad, the footmen, and horsemen. Behind them, you've got the Mumakil with their war towers. But northward, you see Éomer leading the Rohirrim, which had gathered and marshaled. And out of the city is where you get your the Silver Swan of Dol Amroth. You've got Prince Imrahil, right? Leading his men out. And this is where Mary thinks, where's Gandalf?
Yeah, where's he at?
Is he not here? Could
Right,
he not have
right.
saved the king and Éowyn? Like, could this not have been avoided?
Mm-hmm.
But in that moment, Éomer rides up
Yeah.
and leaps down. He's
shook.
Yeah, he has no idea. He's like, what in the world happened? All hope is gone.
Right. And this is neat, right?
Yeah.
So one of the knights took the king's banner, and basically, from the hand of the dead bannerman,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And he lifted it up slowly. Theoden opened his eyes, seeing the banner. He made a sign that it should be given to Éomer. Man, can you imagine just having that moment?
No.
Like,
why didn't they show this?
I don't know. It is like it's such a moment, right?
I can't imagine reading this and going, yeah, we got to change some things up. I don't know.
It's a great passing of the. I know. It's like I'm picturing it in my mind, and Tolkien doesn't need to say much here. Like he literally is just. We know what's happening, and you can see. I'm actually even pretending I'm a bystander. I'm someone surrounding.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
And I'm watching this happening, and I'm tears are in my eyes, and I'm there. I'm taking a knee, or I've got my sword out, and or I'm mounted, whatever it may be, and I am ready. I'm ready.
Think about maybe you're one of those knights around him too that you're dead, but you're not. You're dying, but you're not quite dead.
Yeah.
And you're laying down on the ground. You look up and you see your king go.
Yeah.
Pointing to
the motion.
Pointing to Éomer.
Pass it to him. Yep. It is his now. He is king. Hail, King of the Mark. He said, "Ride now to victory." He gave one last command.
Victory, dude.
Ride
to
now.
Victory. A hopeful
to victory.
message.
That's what he commanded him to do. Ride to victory.
I don't know how that got changed. Honestly, any of it. I mean, even just if you think about it in the films too, it's not Mary. Mary falls over and is unconscious. In the books, it's Éowyn who's laying there, and it's Mary who has that conversation with Theoden.
Yeah.
Which makes it even more. It makes it more tragic that he doesn't even know that she was there. That she was the one who, or maybe in a way, maybe it makes his passing easier. You imagine if he knew that Éowyn was there dead?
True, because it actually takes the prince to that will realize. I mean, even
right.
Éomer shows up and doesn't know that he believes his sister is dead.
Yeah, and that would have made Theoden's passing worse.
Might have.
It would have like not stained it a little bit, but he would have felt like, oh my, like responsible. Like,
I get that now.
You know, she's closer to me than a daughter,
right?
And she's dead too, because that's what Mary's guessing. She's lifeless on the ground, right? That's what we're led to kind of think.
Yeah.
Until that's right. Until the prince holds out and says, "There's mist."
That's right.
There's still breath here.
Mm-hmm. One thing too, I was wrong. So not just one last command, there were two. Ride now to victory, bid Éowyn farewell. And that's it. So my friend,
which has a double meaning there too.
It does. You have
dying.
Yes.
Bid farewell.
Right.
But he means
yes.
Survive and tell her I say goodbye.
Exactly. And that's the key. He said to ride to victory first.
Yep.
So that way you could say farewell for me. To bid her farewell.
Wow, man. Wow.
Yeah. So he died, and knew not that Éowyn lay near him, and those who stood by wept, crying, Theoden King, Theoden King. Whoa, boy.
Man.
Yeah. Éomer said to them, mourn not overmuch. Mighty was the fallen. Meet was his ending. When his mound is raised, women then shall weep. War now calls us. War now calls us. It's just a moment. It's just like
it is, man.
It's just this crazy in the midst of all this craziness.
And he's weeping as he's talking.
It's a ceremony. Yeah, it just had to happen. So
I wonder too if this is something that is said. Like, is this something he's making up just for Theoden right now, or is this something they say? Is this like part of ceremony passed down from? Because it's very generic. He doesn't say Theoden's name. It's not real long and prosy, but it is. It's laid out like a
saying.
Like this is what we say.
Kinda.
Either when a king dies and it passes to me, or
when someone has fallen here in the field of battle.
Yeah,
maybe this is like a special. Yeah, okay. That's a good call. Didn't even think about that.
And like these other men would be anticipating it too. And maybe that's why he's weeping. Because if he's that broken emotionally, he's not going to be able to make this up. I mean, he could, but he's not going to be thinking about, okay, I'm going to
no.
Lay
this
prose out.
Right.
It's like, I know I have to say this. They know they're going to hear it, and I'm going to say it because it's going to help us continue on.
Yeah.
Maybe not though, but it's just interesting how that.
Here's the thing.
I don't know.
The other part
know.
that's the contrast here, right? He's about to see his sister, and it's like they each expected that they would ride to battle, and they don't think they're going to make it. I mean, it's matter of fact, they intend to give up their bodies so that they can make a difference and and drive this enemy back. Yeah. That's the whole plan. So when he sees his sister, something he wasn't prepared for, he wasn't expected. It said that the Fey mood fell on him, right? So that it kind of took him because he's silent. He grows like pale.
Sick.
Words, he's at a loss, right?
Yeah.
Speech failed him.
You'd feel confused and just like.
Right.
I don't know how you'd feel.
And also think of all the magic in the kind of the craziness happening surrounding this black captain, this witch king, this fell beast. What madness or devilry is this? That when he sees Eowyn, he says that, right?
Yeah.
How came you here? Death, take us all. He is just, and he's screaming that too. I actually, I can imagine just death, right?
Yeah.
And then letting one big one out like that, a long pause, and then another death. I mean, just like really upset because what he takes that fury into battle with him. Yeah. And that's what we were talking about earlier. Is it almost takes him
too far. Yeah.
It kind of does. But thankfully, there's someone on his way.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I got something to say about. Yeah, I'll just say it now so I don't forget. Later on, we get another glimpse of this friendship between.
Yeah, we do.
Éomer and Aragorn.
Yep.
And I don't understand why that didn't make it into the films.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's one of the biggest wasted. Like I guess it just kind of sucks because I know the actors could have performed it like perfectly. You don't get any sense of this brotherhood or bond or friendship whatsoever. In the scenes they're in, it looks like they barely even know each other.
Yeah.
And that just sucks, man. It's terrible.
Yeah, there was a real bond between
because in the end,
those two, and even Éowyn.
They're two kings. They're two kings, man.
Yep. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And they've had we'll get it in a couple pages here, but it's almost like this continuation from Helm's Deep. Like we're doing it again.
You know what?
We said we'd meet here again.
That's true.
On the battlefield,
And so let's get to that part because here's the idea. I just read something and I kind of forgot this. Remember there was singing. There was great singing from the Rohirrim right?
Yep.
No longer were they singing.
Yeah.
Death was their cry.
Yeah.
They cried it with one voice, loud and terrible. They had gave up the singing. It says that.
What a shift too. Of like
power to a new king.
Yeah, I'm even thinking like of moods.
Mm-hmm.
They were expecting to die. Then they come in and they kick butt, and it's like, all right, we defeated them. And then all of a sudden, it's like, nah, we're gonna die again. It's just this roller coaster of like emotions.
Yeah. Yes.
But yeah, I guess shift of power too, like for the forces of evil and the forces of good, and then back to the forces of evil. It's like this pendulum swinging back and forth. Crazy.
Yeah. Here it is, my friend. By the way, before I thought it was earlier and I had just missed it.
The sword.
Yeah. He can only use his left arm now, right?
Yep.
There was his weapon, right?
Yeah. He goes to pick it up, right?
Yeah. The blade was smoking like a dry branch. That has been thrust in a fire. And as he watched it, it withered. Yeah. And it was consumed. Yeah. Just withered away.
And there you get the little backstory. So past the sword of the Barrow Downs, work of Westernese. But glad would he have been to know its fate who wrought it slowly long ago in the North Kingdom when the Dunedain were young, and the chief among their foes was the dread realm of Angmar and its sorcerer king. No other blade, not though mightier hands had wielded it, would have dealt that foe a wound so bitter. cleaving the undead flesh, breaking the spell that knit his unseen sinews to his will.
So really,
So literally, it destroyed the magic of this, him having no body and then making it, you know what I mean? Like, his spirit and his physicality, it like broke it all down.
Man,
Isn't that crazy?
How in the world does it end up, right, that this sword comes to face this sorcerer, this king,
Decision or destiny.
this witch king? Yeah. Think of all the choices, right, coming out of the old forest,
Right.
going into the downs.
Right.
Just, I mean,
And then just even
all like
if
everything.
Frodo hadn't called Tom, here you go. Back
Yeah.
to God.
Man,
Back to Tom Bombadil, God of all.
goodness gracious. Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild, man, isn't it?
Yeah. It's
And then
kinda-
even just that they kept it. They kept these swords. They could have lost them, you know, but they didn't. And they were taken by the Uruk-hai.
Yes.
These swords survived that.
Right. Yeah. All right. So the king, now that they decided some of his knights had stayed with him, King Theoden, and we're going to move him right
Oh, that's right, yeah.
from the field. And they talked about what they did with Snowmane.
Yeah.
They dug a grave, right, and set upon a stone,
Yeah.
carved in the tongues of Gondor and the mark, faithful servant, yet master's bane, Lightfoot's foal, swift Snowmane.
Yeah. I know. I love how.
It's just like the way they
Yeah.
care about their
They're
horses and their
part
their
of them,
creatures.
right?
Yeah.
They're part of them. I love too that forevermore that the grass was long and green on Snowmane's burial, but the ground was burned and black where the beast had laid and died.
Reminds me, remember that we always talk about the ponies and how we take the time to know that they're living a good life.
Yep.
That they were working hard, but they're okay.
Yeah.
Even now, in all of this, they're doing okay. And so we get to know, sort of like long after this is what happened.
That little fox
Here
that
in
I
this
still
spot.
think about.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Bill
the pony.
Yes. Yep.
Pretty wild.
Oh boy. So okay, now slowly and sadly, Merry walked beside the bears, and gave no more heed to the battle. So he's going with them. He's a kingsman. He's headed into the city if he can. But out of the city, Imrahil shows up. Prince of Dol Amroth rode up and drew rein before them. As you said, he's the one who realizes that, you know what? First of all, here's a woman. Did you bring your women with you?
Yeah.
I mean, to, come to war, come to our need.
And then he says,
Come to our need.
"You want to make a podcast? You want to start a podcast, mates? Lord of the Ring podcast, eh? You want to do it? You want to do it? Do you?
Yeah,
You want to
mate.
do it?
Yeah.
You got your name just right, mate. We'll call it. We'll call it podcast.
I can't do the accent.
Let's drop it. This is serious too.
Yeah. The Hither and Thither podcast.
Ooh, that's a tongue tire. A tongue tire. That's a thing, right?
Yeah.
How about the Slow Kindled Courage podcast?
That was the I'm glad that's in here because
Slow
that's
Kindled Courage. Oh, that's what you were trying to think of that?
Yeah, remember I was talking about like what was the description of his courage. Slow kindled. Oh
Oh, geez. You got anything else?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've always got a little bit of Lust and Fury. The Lust and Fury podcast.
Wow. After hours. How about the He Was Young, He Was King podcast? Or to kind of go off here, the Lust and Fury, the Sword Leaners?
What?
Hey, don't take that the wrong way, all right?
Who comes up with this? This is good. No. He was young. He was king. That's actually.
That sounds like Hanbury Han talking.
That's really good. That's really good. We might. We're narrowing.
Well,
that
I
down.
stole it from Tolkien,
Okay.
but no, I made it.
Think he'll mind if we use it?
We'll have to contact him. Just drop him a line.
All right. I think Eowyn would have wanted us to start a podcast too. So she's probably thinking about it
For
as
the
they-
AO Win
Wow.
podcast.
Really. feel free to keep going.
I mean, she beat the Nazgul.
She did.
All of them. Yeah. In a way.
So, she is.
Talking about,
First of all, she's
Prince Imrahil.
Yeah, she's striking. She's the best. She's
Yeah.
just. I don't know, man. And also, you think about just how she stands out. Her hair and how long, falling to her shoulders, golden, beautiful. She's there in armor, and you're like, I mean, that's the prince is like
not what you're expecting
your women
on a battlefield
to fight.
Yeah.
No, just this one, right? She was the sister of Éomer. They didn't know of her riding to battle.
Yeah.
And simply to kind of not to breeze through it, but he just notices that although they believe she's dead, she's not. And he realizes that she needs help quick, though she is on death's doorstep, and is in need of aid, and healing. So, So, but now because he's moving off swiftly into battle, he's riding away, and this is kind of cool because they gave the men of Gondor away. Then now, like they've cleared a way, you can come out and help fight and to continue to drive the army back. And while they're on the run, best time to get after them.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, doesn't end there though, does it?
No.
You keep thinking, it's so funny. It's not a very long chapter, but you keep thinking like, all right, well that's the end of it.
No.
Okay, that's the end of it. And like surely they won or lost. You know, like the battle's got to be over. It's just like this wave after wave and different groups that had pledged to Sauron.
Right, keep kind of showing up.
Been lied to, or had just decided, or maybe their history with Gondor wasn't good, or the different like kingdoms have been. Wow.
Yeah. They just kind of keep coming forward as they push. They'll come back in waves, and it's just this whole thing. I mean, you've got the, let's see. So the fighting is waxing furious on the fields of Pelennor. We hear horns blowing, trumpets being sounded. What do you call those big creatures again? The Mumakil.
Yep.
They're being goaded right to war.
Yeah.
And this is where it gets kind of interesting because the tactics here. I mean, even though the Rohirrim are mounted, and Prince Imrahil has sort of his fair knights around him, also mounted, right? Aren't they mounted?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. They start to form wedges. I mean, remember Éomer is just like death. He's just charging, and everyone's just they're rallying around him and getting coordinated, if you will, rushing in there. It seemed like, and I don't know if you're thinking the same thing, like as they were rushing, it's almost like they kind of get bottlenecked in between these creatures, and they get spread too thin. They're too far away from each other, right? And that was kind of
and the horses, they wouldn't go.
They
wouldn't
just
go near them.
No, they drift right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so they would get all bunched up and scrunched. That's totally right. Which is different. If you're just reading the movie and haven't read the book, you're like, oh, that's not right. They were getting trampled on. Like the horses weren't afraid of them. I think it's so interesting because he characterizes the horses so much more in this story. I mean, we've seen them like freak out when the Witch King and the Fell Beast came around, right? That's something that was different. We've seen them. They're intelligent. They're wary. They know, what enemy they're coming up against, and they're afraid too. They're warriors like anybody else, and they can feel that way.
I got a question for you. Do you ever think Tolkien just got stuck on a word and just wanted to keep using it in a chapter, and it was
Lunch.
just there? There it is again.
Is it there again? Is it there? Hold on. Is it there 3 times?
It might be 3 times in here. I'd have to go look. But I definitely
Did
caught
someone
it a second
blench
time.
or not blench?
The horses, right? They
blenched.
The Mumakil, right? They were They were blenching, and they were then moving in.
So Éowyn did not blench, but horses did blench.
Yes.
Have you blenched today?
Not today, but
I got to go blench.
I will tomorrow.
Continue on.
Oh, okay. I got it. You go blench yourself. All right. So as I was saying, as Lane relieves himself there, just so you guys know, and I'm not cutting this out. These they call them monsters, Mumakil, huge, right? Like these towers of great defense. They're difficult to take down, as we see, right, in the film. Not easy. Takes an elf and a dwarf, maybe. And maybe a bunch of green, shadowy folk to, climb up their backs. Kill them all. Shane Runge's real familiar with these folks as well. So, but Aemir, the rage, the fury. It actually says that his fury had betrayed him. The great wrath of his onset had utterly overthrown the front of his enemies, and great wedges of his riders had passed clear through the ranks of the Sothrons, discomforting their horsemen and riding their footmen to ruin. So that part, it's easy. We've won. We're doing well. But then once we turn, we're kind of, after the passing of that banner, not doing so well. And if the Rohirrim at their onset were thrice outnumbered by the Haradrim alone, soon their case became worse, for new strength came now streaming to the field out of Osgiliath.
Did you get blenched?
I got blenched a little.
Man.
So.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to do that.
No,
for a
you're
second real quick.
fine.
I just.
They. So, okay, out of Osgiliath, right, is this host that's moving back in to the Pelennor fields. They were ready. They were actually in reserve for the sack of the city and the rape of Gondor.
Sure.
I mean, wow. Waiting on the call of their captain, but he has now been destroyed. Okay.
Yeah.
So Gothmog? Why was that not a Gothmog Podcasting Incorporated?
Gothmog or Morgoth or Thogmog or Dagbog.
Hey,
Dagobah?
The lieutenant in charge.
Dude, doesn't Dagobah sound like it could be an orc chieftain?
Maybe. Yeah, actually.
Dagba.
Right. So anyways, yeah, so this is the new lieutenant kind of in charge after their captain had been destroyed. They now have to enter this fray. Right? So you've got Easterlings coming in. You've got what who the rest of these
it's all these
here?
different groups of men.
Southrons are still there in Scarlet.
Yep. And from Harad.
Yeah.
So it's just not looking good again. Like all of a sudden it's not looking good again. Right?
Yeah, it's got this this reserve force that's there.
Yeah.
And they're already they were 3 times outnumbered, as it said.
Yeah.
But now their numbers have dwindled, even though they've given.
Yeah.
They've taken a lot of them out. It's still they've got just never-ending reserves. And what's really demoralizing is this wind that's blowing up, right? And they're seeing almost.
You know what I like too is. I'm sorry. I'm not to.
You're good.
Take us back a second here, but it really. I guess I'm thinking more from the film, but I don't know what Denethor saw up in that tower.
Sure.
But it gives it so much more weight here to see, like, will this never end? Like, there's another group and another group and another group that were just hanging back, waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it really kind of, up close and personal, you realize, like, how many people, how many enemies they have to defeat, fight through, and, like, over and over again, different factions and different parts of this army. Never ending, seemingly. You know what I mean? It's like, how in the world could you ever
win
this battle, man?
I do know.
What are you laughing at?
I got caught up on this Alan Lee picture right here, right? That's Alan, right? And so I'm looking at that chaos, and the strangest thought hit me as you were talking. I don't know what it was. You see me look down there at the ground?
Yeah.
I looked down there because as you were talking, I was looking at that picture. I felt faint. I thought to myself, what would Lane do if I just passed out? It just fell straight out of my chair, right onto the floor.
I'd blow out the candle. I'd go up to bed and fall asleep.
So I looked down. And I was like, well, actually, there's a lot of crap down there. I probably want to fall to my right.
Shouldn't,
instead of my
fall that
left.
direction.
But I don't know what
break your head open, man.
because I'm looking at this and like it's just
Dizzying, isn't it?
it's dizzying because there's so many. I thought the feel is that there's more room. There's not much room to get. They're all bunched up on top of each other. Just death is everywhere.
Yeah.
Nuts.
So how would you not like? I'm sure uppers are like, guys, move on, Lane, move on. But how would you not like even kill your own men?
Well, yeah,
that's tight. I mean, you'd have to have been in so many battles together, and know how your brothers and sisters fought. You know, and it's unbelievable.
It is, yeah. So what is it that they see, right? So they see these ships showing up.
Yep.
And
then they think, well, we're done for.
Yeah. They see their sails.
Yep.
And it's an indication that basically the Corsairs of Umbar are there.
Yep.
And they're kind of thinking, so these other places must have fallen, and here we are. Like this is, we were relying on those to be stopping points.
Yep.
But no go. And now, quickly, so we get that. We're despairing. Éomer he's in a stern mood, as it says.
Yeah.
His mind is clear again. But they notice that there's another banner flying, right? So it's not, even though they see those ships approaching. And maybe I'm skipping ahead here.
No, that's okay. I mean, it's pretty much where the direction we're headed, obviously.
Right. It is that it's the sign for Aragorn.
Yeah.
He's here.
Yeah.
Gondor's here. The white tree is there.
Yeah.
And you've got this.
But it's a new white tree.
That's right.
Sorry, right. But it's like, it's not the banner you'd expect to see coming out of this ship. Yeah. I mean, you see what happened on the margin?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Give it to me.
Just I don't know, man. I'd forgotten about this description of the banner and the importance and the significance of every part of it too. It's like, I love when things, I mean, you know this about me. I love when things have like meaning and there's details that no one else knows unless you ask or unless you made it. You know what I mean? Like I love that because it shows that things are intentional. Like you do things on purpose. It just didn't happen. It was crafted with a lot of thought and a lot of planning and execution. And so we have it here, right? There flowered a white tree, and that was for Gondor. But 7 stars were about it, and a high crown above it, the signs of Elendil that no lord had borne for years beyond count. And the stars flamed in the sunlight, for they were wrought of gems by Arwen, daughter of Elrond. So he's carrying his ancestors. He's carrying the kingdom from which he comes, and those ancestors built. He's carrying gems from his lady, right?
Right.
The one who, he said a couple chapters back, do not think that I wouldn't rather be in Rivendell, marveling at the beauty and sitting down and being with Arwen, than to do what I have to do and what I'm about to do. It's not, want doesn't drive me. Need drives me.
Yeah. I'm looking up.
And then,
go ahead.
Yeah. So gems of, and the crown was bright in the morning, for it was wrought of mithril and gold. So a kingly standard. Thus came Aragorn, son of Arathorn, Elisar, Isildur's heir, out of the pass of the dead, borne upon a wind from the sea to the kingdom of Gondor. How fitting, too, that he came from the sea.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So my question, we often see that white tree with the 7 stars and the crown.
Yeah.
It's just blue and white, typically.
Yep.
But what did it really look like? I mean, am I hearing this right? In that it was bright and it was very clear. They could see it across the land there.
Yes.
I mean, it was shining.
Yes.
With these, gems and stones and precious. I mean, that's really cool.
Yes, it is.
So I was looking for like fan art maybe of something that had been.
Yeah, there's some stuff. It doesn't capture it though, does it?
No, no, it does not. Not what I'm picturing. I guess in my mind, and this is where I wish I was an artist. I could.
How about that? That do it for you?
I could kind of draw it out.
That do it for you? How beautiful is that? I'm John being sarcastic.
Okay, I was like, are you serious? Like, not even close, bro. Sorry, guys. That was a joke.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. All right. So, epic moment. But not only was Aragorn there, Legolas and Gimli are back. Right?
Yeah, buddy.
Which is awesome. So, East rode the Knights of Dol Amroth, driving the enemy before them. So that's happening too. Yeah. You know, each sort of like commander and lord starts to kind of, you're inspired. Once again, you see the return of the king. He's here, correct? Crown is there.
Yes.
And they get inspired, and they the fighting just sort of goes up a notch.
Yep.
I want to say, but before I forget this, Éomer, before he saw that was the standard that was being flown on the ship, or that was revealed, he was laughing and defying. He he was
filled with a new lust and fury.
Yeah, there was this. He had set inside of himself, like, we will hold up here, we will take this formation, and we will die.
Yeah.
Here
it is.
Here it is.
Let's go.
I mean, they're gonna have to take every single one of us out, and we're gonna take as many down as we can, and give everyone in that city time. It's just huge. He was committed. He's even going on to say that he is the last king. I mean, he's thinking that he is this last king.
That crazy
of a fell people, who have been So, okay. All right. So at length, eventually, Narsil's reforged, as deadly as of old. Ooh, insane.
Yeah, isn't that amazing considering what it did too?
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. So, cool imagery there. And so at length, Éomer and Aragorn eventually, as we said, they meet in the midst of battle. You brought this up. Great moment. Leaning on their swords. And did I not say so at the Hornburg? Did I not tell you? I'll be there. And he goes, he says, I didn't know that you were a man of foresight. And we talked about that. He had the ability to see far off, kind of like Denethor, and kind of like some of these other characters that we're learning about, which take us back to the TV show. Will that play in? Is there going to be people who can, what's the, that's going to be interesting to see.
I mean, the whole idea
powers
of prophecy and
yeah, exactly. So
intuition and all that.
Yeah,
dude, it's epic, man.
So just epic, some good exchanging of words, right? I mean, much loss and sorrow has befallen us, and Aragorn said, "Then let us avenge it, ere we speak of it." And there they go. They rode back into battle together.
And it talks about it. They had no easy task. I mean, they were fighting until nightfall. Because, like you said, Easterlings were strong and war-hardened and asked for no quarter. Southrons were bold men and grim and fierce in despair. So it wasn't like when, like you said, you killed the orc chief and the rest of them kind of scattered away, like Aragorn did, I think, in Moria, maybe, or something like that. And
you're right. That's what it was.
So they've got a huge battle, or not battle, but they've got to clear these forces out. I mean, they're not putting up
like
just because Aragorn shows up.
Yeah,
it's not like the movie where the Army of the Dead comes in and just game over like trump card.
So why is that not what? That's what I asked a couple of chapters ago. Like, and maybe someone can help me.
They helped, I believe, unless I'm misremembering, and I might be at this point. It's what?
Well, let's not even talk about the time right now. We want to put.
I mean, they helped them take the Corsairs.
Yeah,
and that's their contribution.
Yeah.
Like that's the way they helped them get there to fight. And and I mean, I had kind of forgotten that until people were talking about that, and then we read it again, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it just, I don't know, like there are moments of the film that they nailed for this. The charge of the Rohirrim, different aspects of like Denethor being Mr. Crazy and the Pyre was pretty dramatic, but like it's more impressive that it's just Aragorn and the Grey Company, isn't it?
Yeah.
It makes Aragorn that much better. Like, it's not like he doesn't need a bunch of ghosts.
Well, and I even wonder too. Like, okay, we're doing well. We've knocked them down. They're counting on. I mean, like the enemy is thinking, we've got store after store of backup. We've got The river's fortified. We've got all sorts of stuff here. We're in good. No, you don't.
Yep.
Actually. So that is kind of neat. Yeah, the last little bit here, and let me see here. One other thing I wanted to kind of mention. Oh, they talk about that there was none of the enemy really. They didn't leave any alive.
Yeah.
Few ever came eastward to
wasn't that amazing?
To Morgul or to Mordor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so there were tales, there were rumors of the wrath and the terror of Gondor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because these were individuals who were seduced or persuaded into following the Dark Lord and who came into this land to strike against the West.
Yeah.
So Gondor. I mean, so
yeah, pretty amazing.
Yeah. Okay. To kind of, there's this long song here kind of at the end, and I don't think we're gonna have the
courage to sing it. My favorite part was because I also thought about They Shall Not Grow Old. I thought about World War One, and it was this, and Tolkien's experience and having drawn upon that, and this was the part that made me think about it. No few had fallen, renowned or nameless, captain or soldier, for it was a great battle, and the full count of it no tale has told.
Heck yeah.
So it was the important and the quote-unquote less important. It was king.
There was no distinguishing
No.
the two.
There was death.
Yep.
And it's like he's telling us something there. He's telling us something there, man.
Yeah. Oh, he is. He is. He said it's. Didn't one place say it's a story about death?
Yes. He said when he was pushed.
Yeah.
That's what Tom Shippey says when he was pushed, and they had this. When people said, "Just tell us what this whole thing is about," he says about death.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you had to boil it down to one thing, it's about dying.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. That just shows there that like all those distinguishments we make through life, right? Death levels all that. We're all people.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're all just people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even in a weird way, this is going to be kind of... we like the idea that, we can control... We're going to go out like this, right?
Yeah.
But at the end, it is all just this... It's death, right? I mean, man, we had a moment in the
same
kitchen
way,
earlier.
doesn't it?
Yeah,
I know.
Right? I mean, but...
You have a last breath, and a last breath is a last breath.
That's right. Yeah. But what is great is that there's also this other light to it that, like, leading up to that, here's my body of work.
Yeah.
Here's
how
what
I'm going to meet it. Right.
Yeah.
I even now I won't be ashamed. In the
yes.
After what I've done.
Right.
I'll sit with my ancestors and I can hold my head proud,
Yep.
proud. And for Theoden, it was what he accomplished in battle.
Yeah.
Like for us, it's other things. It's we're not like out at war. You and I. You're right. It's like, what did I do with my time? Like, how did I live my life?
Mm-hmm.
How did I treat people? How did I prioritize? Did I put my family up at the top?
This is us, man.
This is us, bro. Seriously. Jack didn't have a long life.
No.
I mean, long by some standard, I guess,
Right,
but he sure, I don't know, dude, he sure did it the right way, right?
Yeah. It's just interesting. I like thinking that they all went in here and they played their part.
Yeah.
I mean, they did what they were needed to do. It was this great call that they answered. They didn't have to answer it.
Yeah.
And things would maybe their last breath wouldn't have been here.
Yeah. Somewhere
within this. Yeah, within the fields here. I mean, like right outside the city, but it would. I don't know. It's crazy to think about. So anyways, guys, it's a weird chapter too. Just in a bit that like it's almost got two parts, right?
Yep.
It's got first part and a second part.
It is kind of broken.
It's the exchange between the kings.
Yes.
Really.
Yes, the old king and the new king.
Yeah, where it happens. But
wow, dude.
Man, I tell you what. I don't know if you guys know this, but like, not only when we podcast is it like, we're going through the chapter and it's late and everything and all that other stuff. It's emotionally draining sometimes too. Man. That's the thing. Like, I'm like.
So have you had those chapters where you read it and you're like, it's demanding, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I have to relive this, and like, a week or a couple days from now.
Well,
We got to talk about it
because
again. Because it
there's
is
a
so
pull.
taxing. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like we had to experience him dying twice.
Yep,
You know,
we did.
and it's hard. It doesn't get any easier. Like I
did,
have
we
fallen
did.
so in love with Theoden. He is.
I know. When he was riding into that charge,
Man, dude.
and then even when he's in here and he's taking on the Haradrim.
And thinking about him, I'm not gonna wait. I'm not letting him come to me. I'm going to him.
Yeah, that
Like,
right.
geez, just that mentality. That was his mentality. He was like, I am gonna make my name live forever, and I'm gonna inspire victory.
Yeah.
Within my people.
I mean,
Yeah.
Snowmane out there.
Yeah.
Like everyone played a part.
Yeah.
It's
pronounced Snowman.
Snowman. Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that.
Good old Snowman.
Did you Google that?
No, I did not.
Snowman. So manly.
All right.
Kirdan.
Here we go. All right, let's see.
I held it together.
You-
Relatively well there for a
You
couple
did a
minutes.
great job. You did a great job. Let's see here. My friend. Onward. Let's move on. We have some Bywater post.
We have 2 Bywater posts to read.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
Which
This
one?
is
Which one we gonna take? You want to go back and forth?
well. Yeah, we could do that. So we have Seth Gleason, who sent his, I believe, months ago,
Mm-hmm.
and oh wow, oh wow, last October. He recently messaged me and said, "Hey, Lane, I don't know, like maybe my Tolkien story got lost or something."
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, an unexpected podcast at gmail.com, right? And I checked with Ez. I'm like, is this our email? And you were like, no, it's pod.
Yeah.
And I said, an unexpected pod
Who took
at
an unexpected
gmail.com.
podcast?
You want to open that can now, bud?
No.
And Seth goes, oh, that explains it. That's where it went. I
Yep.
sent it to the wrong email address.
Yeah.
So maybe someone else is reading it somewhere.
I was just saying, are they reading it? Like, did they read it on their podcast? Because
So anyway, I figure we were definitely, we owed it to Seth to read his. And then we have one from Mel from Australia. And hers is a newer one, but hopefully you guys will allow us kind of skipping ahead and reading hers because it has to do with the party.
yeah. Okay.
So,
All right. Cool beans. So let's start back here with Seth.
yes.
My tale began in a crawl space. Seriously?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember how Tolkien described a hobbit hole? Well, this crawl space was the exact opposite. Think of it more akin to Gollum's tunnel.
Okay. All right.
And just like Bilbo, blindly groping about in the dark, I found something precious.
What? This can't be real.
An old box filled with old books.
Get out of here.
Inside was the Chronicles of Narnia, but more importantly, The Hobbit and the Fellowship of the Ring.
Where was this crawl space, Seth?
Yeah, really, it's just, I mean,
Where were you getting into crawl spaces, man?
yeah,
That's pretty
This
wild.
is a magical crawl space. Yeah, okay. Anyways, I bought this. I brought this box to my dad and asked him about the books inside. He really pushed me to read the Chronicles of Narnia because those were always his favorite, but the cover of The Hobbit piqued my interest. It was the one with Bilbo sitting outside the green door while getting ready to, quote, good morning, our favorite wizard, over and over again. There was just something about it that hooked my 4th grade self, and it never let go. I found those 2 books, and my life were forever changed. Ooh. When I got into 5th grade, my teacher noticed my raggedy old copy of The Fellowship of the Ring and gave me the entire trilogy,
Wow.
encouraging me to keep reading. That gift was all the encouragement I needed. I kept going deeper into Middle-earth, and I've never left.
Wow. Then I got my friends involved in my obsession. We would play out different scenes of the movies and fight imaginary orcs and urukai with wooden swords. The girls on our cul-de-sac made fun of us, but that never stopped us from having the time of our lives. We'd watch the movies every weekend and quote all our favorite scenes and listen to the soundtracks while we slept. I can't help but associate my time in Minnesota with Tolkien. I like it because you know what I'm seeing there is that's an AV club from Stranger Things.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
That's what we all wanted as kids, man. We all
right.
wanted what you had, Seth. So
Yep.
that's a beautiful thing, man.
All right. But that time in my life did not last forever.
No.
Right? Which is kind of what we're seeing.
Yeah.
You know. In the middle of my 8th grade year, my family and I moved to Oklahoma. And with that move, I lost my fellowship and was not able to replace it.
Wow.
Yeah. My love for Tolkien became something that was viewed as weird. And for a time, I was made to feel like it was something that should be hidden.
Oh.
It was really a lonely thing to go through. But I never stopped reading. I fell in love with the Silmarillion, especially the story about Beren and Luthien. And I'm constantly going through rereads of that and the other 4. I'm actually just now reading the Unfinished Tales for the first time, and it has brought back that childlike wonder that I had after first visiting Middle-earth all those years ago, which just goes to show you that the road truly does go on and on.
There it is. I never did find that same kind of fellowship that I had in Minnesota, but I did find a new one, and that was this podcast. We're a fellowship, and such a positive one at that. Our group honestly baffles me, and I feel so lucky to have found you all. I'm slowly getting better about posting more, but if anyone needs a friend to nerd out with or just talk to, I know how you feel, and I'm always down to make some Tolkien-loving friends.
So yeah, my story is still going on and on. I've been married for almost a year now, and my wife puts up with my obsession pretty well. She took me to meet Billy Boyd last year for my birthday, and it was the best present I've ever received. Besides my son, who was born 10 days later.
Wow.
I can't help but hope that Elliot, now almost 11 months old, will want to visit Middle-earth with me, because that would be my favorite moment of this whole Tolkien story of mine. But we'll just have to wait and see about that.
Wow. You guys are absolutely incredible, and I love getting to listen in at work. I was on the Council of Elrond Part 1 episode when I sent in my Tolkien story last October, and now I am proud to say I am completely caught up and following along with my favorite book of all time, The Return of the King. Thank you guys again, and remember, Frodo not only lives, he's the best. With love, Seth Gleason.
Wow.
Seth, that is beautiful. Yeah, I'm thinking of the TCBS when you're talking about your fellowship. I'm thinking of the AV Club, right? It's from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And how, like, you think about those things, it's almost like the more special something is, you're going to lose it, you know? Or is it just it hurts worse when you finally do lose it? So we're going to announce that we are stepping away from this book club. This will be the last episode, Seth, and hopefully you're not crying too hard, okay? But we're done, right, Ez?
Yeah, it's
it's a weird timing, man. So yeah, you can't even talk. Should I talk for you? He's blinking, and tears are kind of streaming down his face. He's removed his lower back ponytail from his pants.
We're back.
I'm just kidding. No, but it's just interesting how, like, those, we go through those phases in our life and we have those changes.
Yeah.
And I'm sure as a, when you were younger, you were like, I'm never going to find a friendship group like that again. And then, here we have each other, and
here we are.
We're back, and we're here.
Here we are.
And I don't know. There's something. There's always hope, right? As Aragorn says, there's always hope.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's just beautiful. I love how you came into the world in a magical way. You had your own fellowship in a magical way.
Listening to the soundtracks while they slept. It's awesome. That's man. That actually, I gotta tell you, real quick, just because I thought of this and I want to bring it up. One of my favorite things to do, my buddy Tom, I would get top bunk. He had bottom over at his mom and dad's.
Yeah.
And when we were done out in the living room, like watching whether it was whatever movie it was, and typically it was Return or it was, I don't know, it was
Of the Jedi, be clear.
Yeah, no. It was one of the trilogy. Again, you're saying
Star Wars.
Which one? No, it was either Fellowship, Two Towers, or The Return of the King. We would watch.
Oh wait,
that.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah.
I thought you meant like little, like before the movies were out.
Huh? No.
Were you guys like 30 when you were doing this?
No, we were still in we were. Yeah, I was in the top bunk. Don't worry about it.
So top
I'm
bunk
being
because
serious.
you
I'm
could
being
fart
serious.
and you wouldn't have to smell.
I
it.
love that top bunk. It was actually great. I watched a lot of TV shows from that top bunk. It was great, and movies and things. It was fun. But anyways, when we were done and we had to kind of finally go to bed, the soundtrack. Tom would play it, and we would listen to.
Which one?
I don't remember. It was just I don't remember exactly which one it was. He would put it on, and we would just play. It would just be playing.
It's beautiful.
Fall asleep to it.
I can't
Crazy.
I used to be able to fall asleep to music. I can't do it anymore. But I would play especially certain tracks like is it the Even Star? The ones that Enya sings from the Fellowship. The Shire theme, obviously. The end of the end of the Fellowship soundtrack to the breaking of the Fellowship and all that stuff. Those are beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Love it.
Agreed.
Wow, Seth, incredible. Glad that finally got to us. So thank you for your patience. And I would have been like, man, why in the world haven't they read it? It's been a year almost. Like, what the heck?
Well, hey, we are actually still way behind. So we have so many that
Real
it's
time, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next one is coming to us from the land down under, right? Mel B.
Seriously?
Scary Spice.
Wait, you're joking me, right?
Well,
You're joking me.
read the letter, my friend.
Okay, Mel B. Cool.
Okay, so Mel starts off saying, wow, I lost it. Sorry. Hi, Ezra and Lane. I am still desperately trying to catch up on the podcast, but I decided to write my email now anyway. At this moment, I am listening to the episode on the passing of the Grey Company, one of my favorite chapters. She's not that far behind. Please note this is a long email, so I have kindly broken it up into sections.
Yeah.
As section
Yeah.
number 1.
Section number 1. So, USA and the long expected party. When I started listening to this podcast a month ago, I heard about the long expected party and thought that was the coolest thing ever. Then I went on Facebook and saw that it was happening again this year. I sat in my office and had a really long, hard think about extending the trip to the USA, landing earlier.
Oh, landing earlier. Okay.
Okay. I went and obtained quotes for changing my flights and travel insurance and found out it was going to cost less than $300. I went to the pub and spoke with one of my best friends who is not into Lord of the Rings at all, but she said to me that in the end the party was within my interest, and if I did not do it, I would regret it. So I extended
That's crazy,
the trip
huh?
and am now coming to your party.
That's pretty epic, man.
What?
That's pretty epic. She's slightly beating Nick for the longest travel.
Slightly.
Just slightly.
Barely edging out. Are you kidding me?
Nuts. It's nuts.
Wait, let me just... We're going to meet a friend from Australia?
Yeah.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
man.
better get your
Yeah.
best Australian accent there
All
going.
right.
Wow, that was terrible.
Why do I always have to go to shrimp on the Barbie? She's going to have to help me.
It's Jim Carrey. He nails it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. Moving on. Section 2.
Yes. Yeah, did you read all that?
Yeah, I read all that.
How I became a Lord of the Rings fan. The first movie came out when I was 7 years old. I remember my Nana showed it to my mom. I sat on the floor in my Nan's lounge room and didn't really watch it. I wasn't that interested. I'm not sure what changed, but when the second movie came out the next year, I just fell in love with it. I watched 1 and 2 obsessively. When the third movie came out in cinemas, my dear friend, whose dad was a pilot, gave me a pirated copy from China or somewhere, and it was the worst thing she ever did. It was bad quality and often played in black and white, but because my brother told my dad I had already had the movie, he would not take me to see it in the cinema.
What? Oh, you got to be patient.
All through my childhood and teenage years, I remained obsessed with the movies. I made my mom buy me all the extended editions, and I would constantly binge them. I also watched all the behind the scenes. Reading the books was difficult for me. I had some learning disability or something, and I could not really read it until I was about 10. I have now read them start to finish once, but I often will pick one up at random and read it. Currently, I am delving into the Silmarillion, being very aware that it is not a novel, but more like the footnotes of The Lord of the Rings, detailing histories and where things came from and why things are. I also have a small encyclopedia of Tolkien's heroes, which is by my bedside. I want to get the others in that series as well.
Awesome. Okay. What would Aragorn do?
Yep, I've heard that before.
No, seriously. What would he do?
He would say, Ezra, I'm way better than Gandalf.
Wow. All right. That actually sounds very anti-Aragorn. My favorite. Yeah. I think I get the shirt. I see it. I understand.
Wearing a WWA shirt right now.
WWA shirt. Say it slower.
Why would Aragorn do that?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
WWA.
What
DT.
would Aragorn do? My favorite character in the Legendarium is Aragorn, and he has been since I first started watching. Many say that Orlando Bloom as Legolas was their first love, but mine was Viggo Mortensen as Aragorn.
Mine too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And while I would still jump at the opportunity to meet Viggo, Aragorn has stopped being a crush and become a hero and inspiration to me. There we go. I think the reason I love Aragorn as an adult is because of his strength and wisdom. He is well measured in his thoughts and actions. He is not one for rash action. Aragorn has a lot of strength and power, even before he claims his heritage, but rarely does he throw it around. There is a definite humility to him. When he was young, around 30, and he served in Rohan and Gondor and went under an alias and made no claims for his heritage, we can presume he worked his way through the ranks on his own merit and strength. He is always humble, even during the novels, such as asking leave of Theoden before departing with the Grey Company.
We talked about that, didn't we?
Yeah. While Aragorn has inherited much, he has had nothing handed to him. He earns his crown. As someone who has always had to fight for what I want and work hard and exceed the expectations of others, I find that aspect of Aragorn inspiring.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
I have so much more to say about Aragorn, and I suppose I will just save most of it until the party. Let me say, I was absolutely devastated when I found out Amazon was not covering a young Aragorn, but I am greatly looking forward to delving into the Second Age. An unexpected podcast. Final point I want to cover is how much I am enjoying the podcast. Lane and Ez, you have great chemistry on the mics, and it is something... Wow.
Whoa.
I'm sorry. I'm having a lot of trouble reading, and it is awesome to listen to you both.
Just not when you're reading.
You're right. I while away long hours at work listening to you both talking about Tolkien. He's cracking himself up over there. And it makes my days go all the faster and all the better. Can't wait to meet y'all. Mel B, the Aussie Ranger. Man, I love it. I mean, obviously I can relate to what would Aragorn do. He is my favorite character. Always will be. Never hasn't been. Yeah, I said it. Never hasn't been.
Mm-hmm.
So deal with it.
It's true.
Viggo Mortensen, I still completely love him. Completely love him. I mean, I was sitting there watching some kind of round table put on by, was it Variety or something, of actors, and it was just Viggo talking with other actors, and I mean, I could hear him speak forever. I love his perspective. He's hilarious. He's charming. He's charismatic. He's a great listener. You'll see him talk to, who is he talking to? Oh my gosh, I can't remember his name now. Who's the actor that played Black Panther?
Oh, I have no idea. I mean,
Can't remember his name.
I actually watched that movie.
And Jackie Robinson and Thurgood Marshall. He's played all these great characters, but he's
Chadwick
Boseman. That's it.
Okay.
So, and Vigo's sitting there talking to him and asking him all these questions, you know, and just sitting there listening. He's like, yeah, my son was a huge fan of comic book legends, and he loves Black Panther, and he was talking about all the stuff that you did in that film was so spot on. And he's asking, he's like you almost forget he's an actor, and he sounds like an interviewer. He's so interested to learn from other people. And I think you don't really get that much from a lot of other artists. I think a lot of other artists think they know everything, right? And that they don't have to ask questions, and that kind of stuff is below them, and that they're just supposed to give answers. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sure.
But anyway, I can definitely relate to that. But that is really cool. Wonderful story.
I'm just blown away. Australia? I mean, what?
I know. It's nuts. That's crazy, man.
Oh, man.
Very impressive.
I almost wanted to ask a really inappropriate, stupid question. You know?
Well, it's good you didn't.
I don't think I will. I think I'll save it.
I don't think you remember.
I think I'll
what
save
it
it till we meet at the party, you know? Because
Okay.
there's just something about Australia's history I want to know. You know what I mean? Something I want to know. So bring your history book,
So
please.
strawberries with cream today. Thank you, Mel. Thank you, Seth, for sending in your Tolkien letters. Tolkien tales. What have I been calling those?
By your
Bywater Post.
your Tolkien stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what I said?
I have.
I don't know, guys. Send yours in. We love reading those. It's our favorite part of every episode. We look forward to. It's just a great way that we can, even if we remember a couple things, because at this point there's been so many, man.
Oh,
they kind of run together. But,
yeah. That's
what'll
why.
be great is when we meet you guys, you can
Shake
start
your
talking,
hand
and we'll go,
yeah.
"Yep, I remember that story." Okay,
Right.
remember reading that. I feel like I kind of know who you are. So, strawberries with cream. There was a major upset that we saw today. You know, the forces of good were the underdogs. They ended up pulling it off. So, what's the craziest upset you've ever witnessed?
The craziest upset that I've ever witnessed.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Easy.
Oh, that's easy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rocky and Apollo Creed. Done.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I meant real life.
Oh,
but-
okay. Oh, that's not real life. I didn't witness that. I mean, I did see it when I was a youngster. That's all. I mean, you know.
They were given a script and told what to do. So.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty positive.
I don't know. The greatest upset that I've ever witnessed.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it was an upset. I mean,
Did you read the doc?
yeah. Okay. Oh boy. Can I give you a serious one?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not really an upset. I don't know what this you would call this, but I was actually a part of this. So, it was the junior year. We're playing football.
It's both going to be sports for us. I
Yeah.
know it.
And like legitimately, I think there's 2 seconds left, 3 seconds left, something like that, maybe a second. And we're set up there, tie ball game, and coach is like, "All right, guys, field goal unit."
Hail Mary.
I was just out there with the offense, and so I stayed out there because I was playing on the end and playing. It's playing on the end, and so I'm out there now in field goal formation.
Yeah,
So I
totally.
typically played like tight end, or it was either like a small tackle or what have you. But
Yeah.
when field goal formation, like I shifted in next to the center. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why. It was like we had a lot of underclassmen like that. Sometimes so I would go in and I was one of the stronger, bigger guys in there in the middle, and we're going to field goal formation. Coach is like, "Guys, here's the deal. If we make it, we win. Okay. If we miss it, we're going to overtime. All right.
It's a win-win situation.
Just get out there. Let's get
No
this done.
pressure.
No pressure on our kicker because we didn't want that because it was, right. So we're out there.
Is this Coach Gaston?
This was Coach Spittler. Right after.
Okay.
So I felt like, oh, okay.
All right. That explains the speech.
That guy. Yeah. And so we're out there. And I was realizing, like, the guy who lined up across from me, not the same guy. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, this guy's huge.
OSU
This guy
recruit?
is huge. Like, I was playing out on the end. I was playing against some defensive end, doing fine. This guy was like a nose guard.
Yeah.
A true nose guard. And I'm in
Yeah.
there, I'm like, what?
Yeah, he was a mustache.
He had a full beard. I mean, I remember that.
Mustache is a nose guard.
Got it. I understand. Now, that was a great reference. He actually legitimately had a full beard, though.
Okay, cool.
So
cool.
It was really intimidating. I was like, oh, whatever. I'm gonna step down. It's gonna be fine, right? This guy blows me up. Blows me up. I mean, he had probably 50 pounds on me, and so I'm like taking it right, and I'm like fighting this guy. And I'm like, I did not get low as I should have. It was a long game. I was tired. I was like, Coach said we kick the field goal, we win. If we miss it, whatever. I didn't think I'd get blocked back into the kicker. First of all, what happened was, right, the snap dribbles back. I mean, it barely gets off the ground. It's like dribbling back there. And the holder, I don't know this because I watched it later in film, but at the time, I have no idea this is happening. I'm like, this is the longest kick ever. I can barely hold this guy off, right? And I'm kind of like almost giving up. I'm like, why have we not kicked the ball? And this guy's just, you only have seconds, and he's just driving me back. And I'm like, what the heck? Boom. Our kicker finally, once it gets on, he like started, he stopped, he backed up, and then boom. Yeah, and I kid you not, because they had to reset it on the tee. It was a terrible snap, terrible hold, terrible kick, and I was getting my butt kicked by this nose guard.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, guys, I can only hold him for like 3 seconds. It's been 6 to 7. What's going on? And I'm like getting blown back there. The kicker, he kicks it. I kid you not, straight into my numbers in the back. This actually was played on national TV. I kid you not. And it hit me in the back of my.
Funniest Home Videos.
Hit me right in the back of the pads. It ricocheted backwards about 20 yards, and their guy who was coming around the end to block it scooped it up and ran for a touchdown.
You're kidding me.
Game over. They won. So coach was wrong. Okay, there wasn't just 2 options. There was a third.
That does not answer the question.
That was a great upset that I
for
witnessed.
them.
Yeah, it was a major upset.
Okay.
I mean, it was
okay.
Kind of crazy.
I was hoping you'd put yourself in the position of
witnessing it. What do you mean? I was witnessing. I was there, Lane.
You were on the right. You were on the wrong side.
On the wrong
of
side
the
of
upset.
Channel 1 News, by the way, played that, and it
Could
was
I look
played
it up on
across the
YouTube?
country. Yeah, Delaware versus Mount Vernon. I mean, literally, I walked around in a field afterwards and thought, what happened? This was our rival. How did we lose this game?
Was it a home game?
Yeah.
Yeah. So mine has a happier ending. It is from the days of Little League. 12-year-old year. So that's your last year in Little League.
Yep.
You have 10, 11, and 12-year-old year, right?
Right.
Yeah, 10, 11, 12. Brenneman Lumber was my team, and we were playing Foster's Pharmacy in the – you were there, weren't you? City Championship at Lamb Park, 2001.
Probably was there. I was probably watching.
And so we were coming up through the losers bracket.
Yeah.
So it was double elimination. We got beat by them in the first round or whatever, and that sent us to the losers bracket. So we had to made it all the way through to the championship. So we had to beat them twice to win.
Yeah.
Beat them the first game. Okay. I think it was like the next day.
Who was on this team that I know that you beat?
On Foster's Pharmacy?
Yeah.
Oh, Dan Hoare.
Yeah, okay.
Nate Short.
Okay, all right.
Levi Lape.
Yep.
Michael Canterbury.
Yep.
All those guys.
Yep.
So, the bad boys is what we called them.
Yeah.
We were the good guys.
Yeah,
we were
that's
the
right.
lumberjacks.
That's right.
We called ourselves the lumberjacks.
Yeah.
Wasn't that cool?
Yeah,
okay, so anyway, dude,
That's cool.
Don't
That's
be
cool.
jelly. Don't be jelly because we had a cool name. So
I was watching the game from the benches. Yep, it was fine. Hey man, we out here watching this championship game.
We out here. So so because we had just played the day before, like we couldn't use our better pitchers, like Chris Kaiser. Remember Chris Kaiser?
Yeah, I do.
Good pitcher.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, even Kyle Ford was a decent pitcher.
Yeah.
We had to pitch Nick McCann and myself.
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd have to pitch, but Nick McCann was pitching, doing all right. He was a shortstop, not a pitcher.
Right.
Not a pitcher. And got into some trouble. And maybe 2 men on, they called in the first baseman. Lane, get over here. Just pitching. Throw some fire. Except my fire is actually ice.
Come on.
So start pitching. Walked a guy. Okay, there's 3 men on.
Mm-hmm.
Pitching the next batter, grand slam.
Wow.
Dan Hoare, grand slam. Boom. Okay. All right.
Wow.
Well, things are interesting now. So that was a way to break it in. And anyway, it was the bottom of the 6th inning.
Mm-hmm.
You only play 6. Tied. No. We were up 1. It was 12-11, I believe. And bottom of the 6th, 2 outs, bases loaded, full count.
Yeah.
And I'm pitching.
Yeah.
And I threw a strike 3. And we won.
Wow.
Everyone came out on the field. My dad, I still have the newspaper clipping. My dad came out and like threw me on his back.
Yeah.
And we weren't supposed to win.
No.
We were not supposed to win. I mean, we were supposed to come in 2nd place, but it was Foster's Pharmacy's year.
Oh, yeah.
And we defeated them.
I'm so glad you did.
Oh, me too, man.
I am
Me
so
too.
glad.
I would bring that up in college, and they were still salty about it.
They're salty to this day.
They were like, you know what? If Dan wouldn't have thrown his arm out, I'm like, well, how did he do that? And they're like, well, he threw a waterlogged ball. I'm like, kind of a stupid move, isn't it?
Kind of dumb. Yeah, it's kind of stupid.
Maybe they deserve to lose.
Here's something.
We said it.
You had, I don't know if you know this, but like you had the entire city rooting for you. Because, I mean, like, that's how bad we didn't want Foster's Pharmacy to win. I remember that.
Yeah, baby.
I was just making sure I had the right.
They were 2nd
kids on the
place
right team,
all
yeah.
3 years. My 10-year-old year, we beat them.
I loved it.
Then they got beat by, like, Mound Builders, right?
Yeah.
And then we beat them again, my 12-year-old.
Literally, once we got beat out first round,
Wait. Weren't you on Carl and Company, too?
I was on Carl and Company, yeah.
With Nate.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
Didn't we beat you guys when we were moved?
Absolutely.
Too? So he came in 2nd place 4 straight years.
Hey, look, I had
That's pretty good.
a double and 3 singles, so I did.
Well, it's not your fault.
I did my part. Okay,
It's not your fault.
now maybe I dropped a fly ball in the outfield. I can't remember.
That does get kind of tricky.
I had just gotten contacts. I didn't know it was. I couldn't see anything out
Hey,
there.
full circle.
Full circle.
With that being said, guys, we would love you to share the load. Many of you do anyway. There's lots of ways to support the An Unexpected Podcast,
Yes, yeah.
your fellow book club.
We love you.
We love you guys.
We love you. If
Don't
you're
worry
still
about it.
listening, we love you.
Just take care of us. We'll take care of you. The magic will continue to
Lane will strike out the side. It's fine.
Hey, man, I got that one. I want to thank everyone for, I don't know, getting battle lusty with us.
Yeah.
It means a lot.
Yeah.
Next time we'll be avoiding the flames of insanity in Chapter 7, The Pyre of Denethor.
That's going to be intense.
Now it's going to be in a funeral home.
Not in a tent. My bad. I got you. If you like our podcast, don't forget to subscribe, like us, write a review, leave a comment, or send us a Shadowfax.
We'll see you in a fortnight, and remember, Frodo lives.
And so does Sam.